changing your life. All night, girl, I know how to find you. I'll follow the tone, all the lights that surround you. Wherever you go, girl, I know where to find you. Do you think I'm crazy for choosing love? Baby, I wanna be with you for the long. I think I wanna make it go on and on. Baby, I think I'm crazy, your vibe, your vibe. Don't know, I called you plenty, how you wanna run? Sure, I've got a warning, have you had enough? You want me to fuck it tonight? I'm on a party tonight. I'm changing your life.
So sweet to me. This is where I wanna be. On up with you, supersonic. We're on fire, rockin' love alive. On up with you.
Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling? Yeah. Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling? Yeah. Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling? Just in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up. How you feeling?
So sweet to me. This is where I wanna be. So sweet to me. This is where I wanna be. On up with you. So sweet to me. This is where I wanna be. On up with you. Supersonic. We're on fire. Rockin' love alive. On up with you. Rockin' love alive. On up with you.
I'm living in. Music is my therapy, dancing is my medicine. Listen every part of me. So don't tell me you want me just because you're lonely, just because you saw me at the party with my homies. We can take it slowly, we can take it slow. Don't tell me you want me just because you're lonely, just because you saw me at the party with my homies. We can take
Welcome back, everybody, to the Off-Season Shenanigans Season 8 playoffs. We're in the semifinals. I'm your caster Storm, my co-caster on the other side, Mr. Henry Bat. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. It's always a great time to be just on your left. Casting games, color casting, play-by-play, analytic. We're going to have a great time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We got a very strong setup for the semifinals. We just saw the other day In Control beat out TSG 2-0 for the semifinal game yesterday. Today we have Omen Esports versus DrugsNPugs. Two very evenly balanced teams between each other. I am scared to see how this one goes either way.
Yeah, this is going to go the distance. If you're watching this, strap in. This is going to be a slugfest. Back and forth matches. These guys have played each other twice. We can jump into that information whenever you're ready for that, Storm.
Oh,
This is gonna be a great storyline.
Yeah, this one, like you said, is a great storyline. I want to first mention the stats between these two teams. They've only played a total of 4 maps between each other. The first one was Season 53 ESCA Groups, and it was a double overtime victory for DrugsNPugs, 19-17. So right down to the nail biter regardless. And for our only BO3 in the OSS group stages, it was Omen Esports that come out on top 2-1, taking Nuke and Mirage as the second and third map, but losing out on Anubis. So this is entirely going to go either way between either of these two teams. The round count is balanced between each other. The map count is balanced. I'm very interested to see how this one goes. And of course, our map pick is going to be interesting as well.
Very much so. That ESEA match, I just wanted to add to that a little bit. That had a little bit of weight behind it. Both these teams went 8-6, and that map win put DrugsNPugs in the playoffs and kind of omitted Omen Esports. There was a little bit of a gap between the end of ESEA Advanced and these playoffs, or the start of the match these two teams played against each other first round of OSS, and we kind of glazed over it, but that was a heavy hitting match for both these teams. 13-10, 13-11, 13-10, and Omen Esports, they dragged it across the line, and that must have been a really good feeling for them. So DrugsNPugs are coming into this one rare and ready to go for a little bit of revenge of their own.
Yeah, of course. And Omen Esports obviously putting the pedal to the metal throughout playoffs entirely. All season, or all the games, excuse me, have been 2-1 series, and they've had to really push it over the line. But losing out on Mirage as both your map ones just really hurts Omen Esports, especially when they picked into that one in the quarterfinals. So that will be kind of interesting. Obviously, it's not our map one. Actually, it's not a map in general for this best of 3. That's going to be even more interesting now that Mirage is gone. So, kind of getting into these map picks here, we have Inferno as our starting map from DrugsNPugs, followed by Anubis picking Omen picking
Esports.
into Anubis. Right,
Yes,
my
sir.
brain's fried, I'm telling you.
That's all right. You good, brother?
Yeah, and our decider being Nuke, which if we get to that decider map, again, that could go either way because DrugsNPugs still had a really close game on that one. So, honestly...
Nuke was the 19-17 to put them into playoffs as well. So
yeah.
That's gonna add to the interesting storyline that we have here.
And I gotta say, I have no favorites here. I actually don't. Obviously, we've been casting Omen Esports, you and I, over the last 2 games, and this could go anywhere.
Well, we got the bracket in front of us right now, so we could talk about this. You alluded to it a little bit earlier. In Control beating TSG to make it to the finals here. A fun little note, a little bit more storyline driven. Omen Esports actually played against In Control before they lost to them. But In Control did suffer a loss during OSS Season 8 regular season to Anti-Grind, and that was the team that Omen Esports just put away in the quarterfinals not 5 days ago, 4 days ago. You and I casted that one. That was quite a slugfest. So the revenge from DrugsNPugs on Omen Esports, if they can win, they can get their first chance at In Control. But if Omen Esports takes this victory, they have a second crack at taking the XECL team of In Control and winning OSS Season 8.
Yeah, that
Big
rematch
stepping
duel.
stone for them.
That rematch duel is looking slightly likely. I mean, still, it's going to be difficult for Omen Esports to come out on top today. But if we can see that rematch during this exact season for off season, hopefully they can come out on top against In Control. But In Control also being a former ECL team back in ECL season 49. They're still a pretty strong roster. They still have a really good leg up. They've won, I think, both their series in the playoffs 2-0, especially beating up against Zomblers just a week ago. Still a very close game, I'd say, in total. Zomblers still had a way back into it. But all in all, In Control look like they're going to be on top, and that will be for a very tricky grand finals.
Definitely. Looking at these vetoes here, we could dive into these just a little bit, I think. Inferno is not really a favorite pick for either of these teams. I'm going back through my notes here, and I'm not seeing Inferno pop up too often for either teams. DrugsNPugs played it one time against Cooking Esports, 13-6 victory. I can't seem to find one for Inferno that Omen Esports has played during this season.
And I can't blame them. Inferno is obviously one of those trickier maps on both sides. You have the CT side, which is rotate heavy on the B side, especially trying to go for those retakes are a lot more tricky against the Ts in CS2. And on top of that, Inferno, like you could obviously argue the fact that T side has gotten a lot stronger between all maps, and on Inferno sometimes your T rounds make more of a difference than your CT side, but you have to be able to find that level of discipline that Omen Esports actually showed for both the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. They actually played it twice in playoffs.
Inferno?
Yeah, I think it was
Am
Inferno. Am I crazy?
Oh, it was map 2.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the wrong page.
It was map 3
ridiculous.
in the round of 16 and map
That's
2.
right.
There are the other team's pick.
I have a
in the
note here, and
quarterfinals.
my brain is like going over, going, why do you have this written here? Fart is the key. That's what I wrote for Inferno. Fart is the key. This guy steps up every time they come onto Inferno. My brain had a fart there about the Inferno match. I didn't see them play it at all during the regular season, but I casted it twice in the last 2 matches. My apologies.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those maps that obviously they've won on a couple times more, and having DrugsNPugs pick into that one, maybe it gives them a little bit more confidence to work with. But again, we need to see a really strong CT side coming out from them. That's something that we saw a little bit lackluster in the quarterfinals. So in maybe the quarterfinals will be kind of like the last hiccup for Omen Esports. Maybe they'll be able to really kind of what am I looking for? What am I the word for?
Both these teams are developing their individual skills from a default to executes to post plans. Both of them struggled throughout the prelims and the quarterfinals, 2-1s, 2-0s. This is their chance to really solidify it. I think that's what you're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Solidify that they are the better team, move themselves into the finals, and take their shot against In Control.
Yeah, and obviously, it's like we said, DrugsNPugs are a pretty balanced team to Omen Esports. Both teams 8-6 in advance this season. Both teams really evening out on their scores together. They have a chemistry against each other. They have those little ties to each other that really kind of solidify this match in the semifinals. And I dare say that this is probably going to be one of the more exciting matches for the entire playoff brackets. And we saw a very exciting 3-map series for Omen Esports just a few days ago.
100%. I'm looking at the game right now, and I see all the players in. I think they're going to get a little bit of a faux knife round coming in. Should be about a minute. Yeah, I'm looking at the time. It says match being played. They should be the server.
So the knife round obviously going in favor for Omen Esports in map 1. They get to choose a side. What do you really think is the starting side for Inferno, or what do you think Omen Esports are going to gamble more towards?
Omen Esports, they have opping prowess, we'll call it. They have extremely powerful. Dinner is the secondary op on the team, but this guy picks this up and makes it seem like it's his primary weapon. If I was Omen Esports, knowing that the op on the T side of Inferno is not a very powerful weapon, I would start on the CT side. I'd give myself the space, use the op, gain a little bit of distance, take some easy lines, and try to get as many rounds as possible before going on to that T side, which is, as you mentioned, a little bit more tricky to take that space.
Yeah, and on the T side, like if you're eating too much utility right at the start of the round, it can actually be a bit more difficult to be able to get into sites and hold the sites because it's more lane pressure, so it's a more lane-sided map instead of being more out in the open, say like Overpass or Mirage. Both those maps are
Overpass.
both those maps are a lot more exposed and a lot more freedom to kind of swing out wide versus a map like Inferno, Ancient. Both those maps, you only are in more tight quarters. You don't have nearly as much room to work with, and you have to really be able to secure your way through it. And this looks like a pistol round. Two good get started right off the bat, and be kind of a bit of a delayed mid setup from DrugsNPugs starting on the T side.
A little bit of a gamble for Omen Esports here. 4 towards A, 1 towards B, and towards B is just Dinner, jiggling, set of dualies. Scared to stop any kind of fast push by these DrugsNPugs players, but Omen's gonna have to get on their horse and rotate fast.
Obviously, with Dinner having a smoke, you can try to smoke off the choke point, but I think the moment that he takes contact, DrugsNPugs are going to try to sprint all over him. They're setting up their own utility for CT as well. Here comes the first bit of utility. Dinner smokes off through the angle. He's gonna go wide with those dualies. Finds one through the smoke, but only good for that first one. Serum gets the trade frag immediately. Rotation's gonna come through from Omen Esports. 2 through Banana, 2 through CT spawn. This is going to be fast aggression as DrugsNPugs don't have that control. They're all gambling towards the site. Jay Breezy needs to puncture this rotate early. Here comes the double swing. Good for the first one. The dualie's not able to find anything. Bart on the angle. Can't find the shot. Rue is still hanging outside of a smoke. The 2 versus 4 now in this position. Will look to be a stronger CT retake. Completely falls apart to the hands of DrugsNPugs. There goes Weenie. Rue on the angle. Can't find it at all. As DrugsNPugs solidify that B site.
Yeah, great smoke getting dropped by Dinner there. The dually spamming through the smoke gave up his position, and just 5 Glocks ripping through there. Burst fire, I think I heard one time too, putting him down. Getting one was good, but survival might have been better. A little bit of a slow rotate from Omen Esports. They had no information. They were just gambling the stack, and retake not successful. Round 2 away though.
Yeah. Getting into this one, Galil's Mac 10s, no real buy for Omen Esports. Pretty much standard. I think you want to try to rip away a gun or two if possible. And if they're close enough, like some of these Mac 10s will be, maybe you get a gun for free. Maybe you can try to survive with what is in store. And DrugsNPugs, they're going to actually default this a little bit more. Obviously, the Mac 10 wanting to take that first contact, but they're leaving bomb towards T-spawn. They're setting themselves up for a B execute. And I think DNP just really want to take it cautiously and not give away anything for free.
Yeah. Omen Esports stacking again. I don't mind this call. Try not to give the money up to the Mac 10s, but that bomb's down bottom mid. There is an opportunity for Omen Esports to group, maybe find one on Jay Breezy and Boiler, but I think that bomb's going to get scooped up, run towards that B site. A little bit of a safe haven. Jay Breezy might get a couple of kills here, but Omen Esports probably going to try to not die this round.
Jay Breezy is going to be the one under pressure in this close quarter angle for Boiler Room. Managed to put his crosshair right onto Fart's head at the right time. Still not losing that Mac 10, but none of Omen Esports are really moving from this A site. They don't want to try to hunt this Mac 10. They don't want to try to overextend if they don't have to. Preventing the money gain from DrugsNPugs is probably the name of the game for this round.
Yeah, we noticed this on Anubis with Omen Esports. Remember, these guys have the economy management, the economy understanding. I don't think there's a single round on Anubis where they lost more than 3 people. Their economy was booming every single round. It just comes down to the individual discipline and the in-game leader's control of his players.
And this is not something that we saw during the quarterfinals. This was during the round of 16 where they showed that discipline, that control a lot better. And I think after the quarterfinal game, I think they're going to try to go back to those roots, try to make sure that they keep that economy, keep that money in check, because it's like you said, that was their winning strategy in the round of 16. That's what got them so many easy rounds on Anubis, and they need to be able to execute off that again and do the same thing as before, because it works.
Here comes this classic lower banana smoke by Omen Esports, heavy util behind it. They try to fight. Almost every round they fought for this, they were doing heavy nade damage, winning at least a one fight. Immediately countered.
I like the util usage from DrugsNPugs in this position, trying to flush their way through banana as much as possible. Rue getting a little bit of burn damage, first degree burns at the sandbags. A flash going to be late as Rue finds himself the opening frag. Serum not blind. Dinner almost was from the team flash. Still, they opened up another free pick towards the B site. Luke a little late to try to find the trade frag. So it's a man advantage for Omen Esports for the moment, but Jay Breezy out through the A site. Luke does find one on B. Scroops finds a follow-up on the A site, so it's 2 versus 2. The rotation's already come through from Fart, trying to get back towards the A site through the archway. That smoke is covering them just long enough. Fart gets dinked as well, so Luke has the bomb in his control, and now he knows the B site's going to be a lot more open, because a pick from Scroops and Fart towards the A gives all the information he'd need. So much
They're not
time
going to
on
be
the
farther
board.
away from this. There's no way they could be even farther away from this. They're rotating the wrong way. They might have a read, but this smoke will give them a little bit more time to rotate in.
Yeah, once that smoke blooms, now they're going to have that information. Only the one kit in the hands of Fart, but he's the low HP player. This is going to make it so much more tricky to try to get back into the site and try to stick that defuse. At the very least, you got to set Fart forward to try to play off a 10-second defuse as much as possible. You got to find one of the lying kits on the B site.
A couple of good pieces of util for this retake, too. Scroops can get this flash out, but I think they're taking a little bit too long.
Yeah, time is dwindling. No smoke to cover that bomb. Luke has a Molotov trying to stick that defuse. Okay, wait a minute. Did they get it in time? Fart stuck the defuse in time as Scroop took that fight. And I think that's a blunder from Luke because he had a molly.
I think he dinked him with that AK. Like, that seems a little bit weird, but I think he actually dinked him with that AK. Like, maybe it was just 4 really quick shots that I just didn't see. But, yeah, it looked like it was pretty good. Omen Esports with that early banana util. They had a protocol set up for when those Molotovs landed at sandbags. They played those trades immaculately, sent the rotate back over to A, and Fart caught off that arch push. That was beautiful.
And that's where having that B stack from the CT side works out in those early rounds because DrugsNPugs, they wanted that early space towards the B side. And they're going to do it again. This time, obviously, less of a stack from Omen Esports. Smoke to cover them off just little by little. Oh, spam through the smoke. Serum does take out Dinner. So Rue's all alone. Just trying to stay alive as long as possible towards that B side. The flash might get Jay Breezy into the site. Oh, not ready for CT to be all the way pushed. Fart, back turn, not holding that CT smoke. Jay Breezy, the patience is perfect. He's going to inch his way out back towards the A site. Nobody's going to be ready for this coffin angle. Will Rue turn around at the wrong time? No, he's going on top of the box, and he goes down in the process as Absolute still holding on to the A rotate. Omen Esports, they have to save off this round. They just lost a round they shouldn't have in that situation.
Yeah, that was Absolute from Boiler. Prod was all over that. The movement, the sound, the utility he was throwing forced Fart to rotate off that B site, especially once it went quiet for about 20 seconds. And that's the round winner. Now he's just staying patient. He knows the CTs are on a save. He doesn't need to fight them. Beautiful round by DrugsNPugs to get a third on the board.
Round was Jay Breezy written all over it. That gamble push through the smoke. Find his timing in towards coffin, even letting the CT guy go in the process. So still 3 guns saved for the hands of Omen Esports, but that's a massive round for DrugsNPugs, considering that also resets the loss bonus.
That's the second time we've seen Dinner get spammed through the smoke when he's trying to spam through the smoke. It's rotating into sight. Keep an eye on that. Something to look forward to in the future for the DrugsNPugs, but this Omen Esports early utility down banana, T's are ahead of it. They're ahead of it every single round, and they're taking banana control quickly. Response needs to come in right now.
Again, the MP9's in the hands of Rue and Fart. Maybe they can get a little bit more damage done with it towards the A site, but actually they're going both B. So they're changing up a little bit of their strat here of who's playing on the B site early rounds. Obviously, Dinner still being a primal threat here, but a little bit of a change up. Made in top of the smoke. Serum completely blind off the angle. So Dinner opens up that first frag, and a deep B banana smoke is going to hold that line. Weenie finds the first frag towards Palace. It's more players from DrugsNPugs. They're going to try to overrun them. Here comes Scroobs as well, finding himself another frag. Sunk is here behind the Molotov, trying to find that frag. Scroobs is not ready for that app push. Getting their way back into sight. Luke wanted to throw that piece of utility to try to hold that line. Smoke on the cross. Dinner can't find the headshot. 3 versus 2. Worried about the flank already. Still waiting to get that bomb down as Sunk finally makes his way out of apartments. Now both these players are in the middle of the A site, which makes it so much more difficult for them to hold that line. Luke cannot find the shot.
Whoa.
It's a double kill from Omen Esports to get themselves back on the board and completely reset at least half of DrugsNPugs, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that read was by DrugsNPugs. They got the 2 kills on the A site, and then the bomb took 13 seconds to get out of apps. 2 flashes, molly down lane side, hesitated, got out, tried to plant safe, faked it, picked up the bomb, tried again. Took almost 17 seconds for him to put it down, and then as soon as that second kill on A site happened, they were still on the B site. So that rotate was able to get in there in time, press the issue almost immediately, catching DrugsNPugs off. It was a beautiful round for Esports.
This was just a
Beautiful round.
This was just a really scared play from DrugsNPugs, obviously with the man disadvantage going into that late round. They had to still worry about so much of the utility in towards apartments, and they didn't know how fast they were already up lane, considering Omen Esports were dumping the util that early. And so it just made a world of difference for Omen Esports to put DrugsNPugs in such a disadvantaged position, having both their players in the middle of sight. It just didn't work.
No, it did not work at all. And this is the 3rd time now DrugsNPugs have been kind of stuck behind their own smoke down towards Banana and eaten a little bit of utility damage for it. They keep throwing this smoke to try to put out an early molly, and it's just not successful for them.
Oh no. Oh no.
Now it is, of course.
Rue takes too much damage having a nade out in hand, over swinging that sandbag position. And then Dinner tries going for that frag when everyone's focus is on Rue, but he couldn't find the shot, and they came back to bite both of them at the same time. Now again, Omen Esports have to try to save those rifles because their loss bonus is in the dump. And a lurk from
Absolute again, up in
down.
apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's fired that Tech 9 as well. They know he's here. They know he loves to play this position. Patient as ever, just maintaining the rotates. And you can see just how nervous Scroobs is. Working his way back into pit. Getting the rest of his team over. But economy management from Omen Esports, pretty flawless. I don't even mind losing the round if you're keeping 3 alive and 2 of those players have 3K on them. It's going to be a full buy going into the next. And DrugsNPugs are going to have to start counting this economy a little bit differently.
Absolute makes his way out, trying to find that frag. Completely shut down by Weenie in the middle of sight. Just the timing's not right for Absolute to find that frag. And Group's gonna hold that line down from lane, and that's just 3 rifles again.
Yeah. I don't even mind that play by Absolute at the end. Just a Tech 9 jumping out, trying to get one more to hurt the economy a little bit. DrugsNPugs is realizing this is a standard play from Omen Esports. Economy is the 6th player on their team. Utility is almost the 7th, especially on this map. And DrugsNPugs are maneuvering their way around those 7 players right now pretty nicely.
Those save rounds are equivalent to $10,000 every single round that they keep 3 players alive, and that's so important. That's 3 guns they don't have to buy into, 3 sets of armor that they don't have to buy into. It makes such a world of difference in this map, especially. The util dump from Omen Esports, it's gonna give DrugsNPugs the confidence to push up through arches here. Scroop's gonna hold that line. He might have to read for this. Eventually, Jay Breezy walks out, trying to go for the tap, only good for the 1. The swing back from Weenie, good for another one, trying to get that flash off. Gonna blind bolt the T's in the angle, trying to go for more. Can't find the shot in time. He panicked after full blinding Sunk in that position. So now the rotate comes through. Fart still with that 5-7. Can pick up a gun here, but that nade actually blows it into the smoke, and now that gun is out of his hands. Second grenade on top of the smoke, trying to flush out the site. Sunk, dancing around the smoke. It's Serum to find Rue in the process. Dinner on top of the box, ran out of ammo in the process, trying to find more damage. It's not gonna happen. And it's all DrugsNPugs on this A site.
Good read from DrugsNPugs. I'm guessing that it was going to be the heavy stack towards Banana. Maybe a little bit of a read, maybe a little bit of watch back their VODs, realizing they play one apps, one pit. And they found that gap. Alongside Rap Day, trades were effective, spam of the smoke. Beautiful. With all these saved guns, you'd think that Omen might be able to purchase into this round, but it's not looking great for them. And this is where DrugsNPugs economy management, knowing how many have survived on the rounds that they've lost, they need to account for that. Try to figure out what kind of buy this is going to be.
I mean, I think they only bought into one extra gun in the previous round in the hands of Rue. Fart only had a 5.7 in utility to really work with on the B site. So
yeah, but there's only been 2 rounds where all the Omen Esports players have died. The first one and that last one. So this is where DrugsNPugs have to really start doing that mental calculation, and I don't know how deep it can go, because I don't think I'd be able to figure that out.
I mean, 1900 on the loss bonus, it's pretty beckoning, and having to still buy into 2 guns, you're gonna at least have 1 or 2 players guaranteed on broke all the time in that case. And so again, Luke with that Mac 10 just kind of echoing into it. Rue, oh, that's a dink. Immediately down to 16 HP, so that Mac 10 less useful than ever. Rotation through the smoke. Rue trying to find more. Serum's also down to half HP. Jay Breezy tries to get his way up mid. Oh, he can't even find the shot on the USP. Dinner swings back out with that 5.7 and finds the frag. It's those 5.7s that are going to make a world of difference. Eventually, Scroob goes down. The bomb out of DrugsNPugs control, and one single smoke to try to hold the line. Good on the first frag with the AK. Absolute. Not going to spot the shoulder of Fart as he re-aggressive with the P250. It's Sunk to find one through the smoke. Weenie finds another one with the picked up AK. He has the health, and or actually he doesn't have the armor, but he can go back into this one. He's going to inch his way up the mid steps and almost takes down Absolute in the process. What a relatively close round for Omen Esports.
That was a like $300 to $500 investment per person on Omen Esports to kill 3. They take out 3. Math says $10,000 down. They spent $1,200 to do that. That's a huge win for Omen Esports, keeping the economy in check at DrugsNPugs. And look at that, they're buying right back into it. Weenie on the op. See what he can get done with this. Early Banana spawn too for him, and he might just go for this pick. He knows the utility up Banana is really deep with those Molotovs, so he might be able to get in front of it.
Tries his best. Goes on top of the first piece of utility. Ooh, he tried seeing the angle. He goes on top. Finds a shot onto Serum. Opening frag for Omen Esports. Finally, I think for the first time in this series. Ooh, and he's going to capitalize off it a little bit more towards the A side. Falling towards the boiler, but he's not ready for the hard swing. Dinner on this line. Trying to find his frag around the smoke, but the timing's just not right. Bomb 2 get into the middle of sight. The rotation from Rue late. Effectively, it's only a 2 versus 3 in the first 20 seconds of this retake. I can't tell if they want to go for this one or not. Only 1 kit in the hands of Weenie. Again, now he's down to 6 HP.
Dinner looks primed and ready to go for this.
More Molotovs flushed out the angle, missed op shot, cost him his life. Kit's now down, and there goes Dinner in the process. Rue trying to find his way up, gets the first frag onto Jay Breezy, trying to open up the last frag onto Luke, who doesn't realize he doesn't even have a kit. And now he realizes his demise. DrugsNPugs, they move up to 7 on the T side.
We can now see why DrugsNPugs picked Inferno. They found a gap within the Omen Esports CT side, and it is that long side. The pressure that they're applying, forcing those rotates back over from B, is crazy. They're able to take so much space from them. It just allows that short side to become so weak because it's just one person playing in pit. No aggression in apps because they lost it early a whole bunch. Omen Esports needs to reset here, but back to the 5.7s, and we know what they can do with those. And the B stack is underway. Let's go.
You've seen time and time again the upgraded pistol, 5.7s and D pull out unthinkable round. This utility is going to make it extra difficult. Dinner finds one through the smoke. but it's not going to amount to much as Weenie's also down 211 HP again. And all of Omen Esports are very split up. The trade frags are basically just not going to happen here. And with Scroobs losing his advantage, just playing a little bit more sneaky.
Let's see if DrugsNPugs can smell this stack out.
I think they might, as the Archsmoke's going to be Fart trying to find another frag. Here comes Weenie with a P2K, trying to get his way back out mid. There's a gun for him for free. Nobody's going to be ready for him this close in this position, but Sunk, they have the shot. It's going to be absolute instead. Trying to work his way out through mid there, but again, Omen Esports just not finding the right timing, not finding the right shot to take.
DrugsNPugs definitely has a good account of the Omen Esports economy. They just played this passive round there, too deep down banana, waiting for a mid push. The alt mid guy did not aggress up, and when he did, he just moved up with his teammate in apps, clearing that space as twos. And that's a really strong default on an anti-eco for DrugsNPugs.
Hop again in hand for Weenie, MP9 in the hands of Bart. We've seen him constantly with an SMG buy in plenty rounds of the entire playoffs. And Weenie's gonna find that opening frag again, but last time it didn't lead to the 5v4 round win as the A side crumbled under the pressure. Utility being dumped top banana, as well as one of the more precious smokes. Nade lands on top of two of them. They're gonna find that crossfire. It's Rue to pick up the triple kill towards the B site. Luke's now alone in the 1 versus 4, trying to reaggress back towards B before that rotation comes through. He doesn't have the utility to work with, so that fading CT smoke is his only grace. Otherwise, he's gonna have to try to play retakes the entire time. Eventually, information given out. Molotov towards quad. Gonna try to flush out Rue, but it's Weenie to push up through CT spawn and find that last frag. This time, Omen Esports get the gun round.
Yeah, good chance for them to go for 4. Rue getting 3 on that B site. I think the flash from the T's kind of blinded themselves a little bit. Nothing you can do about that. Sometimes a little bit of reset for DrugsNPugs. Go back to the demo and say, how'd that flash hit us? That's it. Shouldn't have got 3 on that spray down Rue, but he did anyways. Survived backside long enough for the cavalry to come in, and Omen Esports looking prime to get themselves into a 4th potentially on their CT side.
Those AKs can still be very dangerous. It's effectively a full dive from DrugsNPugs as they're going to try to do another fast play towards the B site. Rue carelessly spamming through the smokes in banana. It's going to be a rush from Serum trying to take that initial space. The dinner goes down through the smoke. B site's gonna fall off. Absolute also finds the frag onto Scroobs, making this retake extra difficult. Around the corner, not able to find the shot as that smoke blooms. Absolute is going to try to tear apart the A rotate. Gonna hold on top of that smoke. A 1-tap to go off. DrugsNPugs up 9-3 on their map pick.
That was another death for dinner through that smoke on B site. He got one, got traded immediately again. His rotates through that smoke are good for 1, but when he dies, most of the time, a heavy percentage of the time, it's not looking too powerful. Oh, a standard halftime pause coming out from Omen Esports. We saw them do this on Mirage to no avail, but still taking those timeouts, making use of them. It's a good thing to practice.
And you see in plenty of the officials, they take like a short ad break. They take like a 3-minute ad break for ads to go through on Twitch, because obviously Twitch being a little bit more finicky with their ads. And I think Omen Esports use that kind of same strategy effectively with getting that timeout called, giving themselves the extra 30 seconds on top of everything else from the end of the round. And they're going to just talk strategy, try to figure out what they did wrong on the CT side and try to apply it going into their T side. And they have a lot of room that they need to try to take here for the second half, and obviously being this much at a disadvantage is going to become a little bit more difficult to really get back into this one. Serum's gonna hold on top of that smoke that he threw, but Weenie gets the better of him. That flash is not being effective from Jay Breezy. Tapping away through the smoke, gonna find a lot of damage, but not find himself a kill. Dinked on top of the angle. Now he's gonna be pressured to fall all the way back. Does find the fadeaway shot onto Weenie, as Rue is down to 16 HP. He's no longer up to take this fight, and they're gonna still try to fight this coffin angle. Eventually, Rue goes down. Scrooge trying to find anything more on top of the box. He finds himself a double kill. Sunk alone, 1 versus 3. More than doable with the HP in the hands of Omen Esports. Dinner eventually goes down, trying to find more, isolating these one-on-ones. The duel is almost out of ammo in the process. Flash towards the banana angle, trying to isolate Scrooge. He does, but Far comes right back through to finish off that pistol round for Omen Esports.
Good try from DrugsNPugs on that B site. The flash from Dre Breezy, like you mentioned, a little bit off. I think it blinded the tees at the back. I don't think Serum was expecting someone to be that close to him, and he took the Glock right to the lips. It's unfortunate, but that was a B site open for Omen Esports.
Still, Jay Breezy almost opening up the possibility, finding that fadeaway shot onto Weenie, with Rue already being down to low HP. Those dualies from the CT side were also starting to become a little bit of a problem going into that retake. That was a not very convincing round from Omen Esports, and here we go. DrugsNPugs want to set the pace for this match. They want to try to end it in 17 rounds total, as they're going to sprint down towards middle. Dinner completely pressured, cannot even find the shot onto Jay Breezy. DrugsNPugs completely wipe away the conversion round.
Something to add to the default for Omen Esports. Round 2, we win pistol. They force. What do we do if they push mid? No protocol set up for them, no trade attempts. They just got run down at banana by, it looked like just a 5-7 and an MP9. Scout down mid, took a couple of chunks out of one. DrugsNPugs, great recovery from that pistol round loss.
Beautiful, actually. And
very beautiful.
Now they have a couple more Galeals to work with, which, in my opinion, better than the Famas. So they're going to, again, try to set that pace. They're going to push down mid as much as they possibly can. And they have so much forward space around this map control. The only thing that's a little bit lackluster is towards apartment. And Omen Esports are going to start to read into this one. The scout tags them down low. Jay Breezy finds a shot with a MAC-10, trying to get their way out into the middle of sight. Screw cannot find a tap, and he's going to go down in the process. Again, no manpower lost for DrugsNPugs.
Blood in the water. DrugsNPugs, they smell blood in the water right now. They have definitely exploited a weakness or a gap in the Omen Esports CT default that they took advantage on banana and the long wrap side, and now they're taking advantage of another one. This mid aggression from DrugsNPugs, Omen Esports has no response for it. They tried to run through apps there. They got caught out by the long side rotate. They need to take a little pause here, let DrugsNPugs get to 12, and try to win this game back out. Doesn't look very promising for them, though.
Effectively, overtime is pretty much demanded. Maybe this P250 can really get some work done, but the SMGs from DrugsNPugs really put a damper on Omen Esports' confidence and effectively their pushes. They really need to be able to swing into a player that's just holding on tight onto an angle, because the faster you go out, the harder it is for them to find the spray, find the control that they need, and make it easier for a second player to clean up the mess on the T side.
Yeah.
The rotation from DrugsNPugs towards the A site, 4-man stack. They're all playing choke points. They're only playing for a little bit of information, and past that, nothing.
Yeah, Jay Breezy's here in these Glocks. Maybe this one P250. He's confident at 16-9 with a MAC-10 and a smoke at B to allow that A site to be a little bit heavier stacked. The op playing that speedway rotation, but A site, this is a triangle of death right now. And Omen Esports, if they don't sniff this out correctly, they're gonna have a bad time.
A late banana smoke from Jay Breezy as well, the last of its kind. On the CT side, here comes the A rush from Omen Esports, trying to fake the A presence. Both of them go down in the process. Now Omen Esports have to realize that they need to take this towards B. The rotation from Sunk already going to be here with that AWP, as no one can get past Jay Breezy with that MAC-10. So they move up to 12, and again, no losses.
No losses. No loss. Oh, they've only lost one player in the last 3 rounds. Drugs and Pugs are exploiting Omen Esports on Inferno right now, and it probably doesn't feel great for Omen Esports, but they're going to get a chance to watch this VOD back. They're going to find the gaps, fix them up. It doesn't matter. Rinse and repeat. You got one last chance here, realistically, to win this map out. You got to do it straight. If not, we move on. We move on to this very strong map.
Stronger is what I'd like to call it. But
Sure, stronger. Dead through a smoke dinner.
I feel like there's been a lot of smoke kills from DrugsNPugs. Let's just add another one to the repertoire. Brew goes down through the smoke as well, too. Coming from Luke. Weenie finds another one on Luke. What is going on? This round is just back and forth nonsense. Breezy has the opportunity to upgrade to that AK. Will in the process. Plenty of utility left to work with for DrugsNPugs, despite the 3 versus 3. Omen Esports only have a single smoke left to their name. They have to do as much as possible to hold the line with that. The B site is the more viable option. Only one player left on the B site, and it's so much harder to retake as the CT side. And Scroops is not with his teammates, trying to wait for that lurk around in kind of a less optimal position.
Yeah, Omen Esports cleared out bottom banana. They seem a little bit hesitant. They don't really have too much information. They're kind of just posturing, but I think they're going to head back towards the A site. I say that as they're walking up mid facing A, of course. Silly. But yeah, they're going back towards the A site, and the rotations are going to be late. So Solo on site is sunk with that op, and he's going to have to make it sing. 1 would be good, 2 would be better, 3 would be, well, prime.
Not going to find the initial pick towards the lane. And a single flash kind of baited them out on from Omen Esports. Sung finds the first shot with that AWP. Going to get pressured on the line. The flash really effective. That blind time is insane. Still trying to hunt him down. 10 seconds on the clock as they're getting back into the site. The rotation's already come through. Finally, that op goes down in the process. Absolute's trying to tap away at the headshot angle. And Scroops and Fart both in the middle of sight, trying to take those one-on-one fights. The smoke goes down. Absolute waiting to push through that smoke. Eventually go through. Going to find the spray. Scroops keeps this one alive, just barely around that smoke. And Omen Esports, they continue to fight for Inferno.
You can see the conscious decision there at the end, too, for Scroops to not pick up the op. I think that might have been a call by the in-game leader. He was going towards pit to grab it, and he didn't. Yeah, good conversion for Omen Esports, patiently losing those first 2 kills of the round and then just putting themselves into a 3v3. I say patiently. If you're getting shot through the smoke, you really got to take a deep breath and not get your emotions up too high. Reset mid-round. And their 3v3 call was great. Little utility towards Banana. Lock themselves up A until contact. Trade out effectively against that op and get that bomb planted. It was beautiful.
Third tack time up from Omen Esports as well to really get their heads together. Obviously, they wanted to try to have a clearer round, try to get themselves into a bomb site pretty easily, but they couldn't flush away that op. They couldn't figure out how they wanted to get in and hold the line, and it almost put them in a game-losing situation with both players in towards the site. Fart just not being ready for the casual swing through that, or through arches.
No hit armor on Luke this round.
Yeah.
Could
I mean,
come back to bite
that's
him.
pretty standard. I mean, you're going to expect to see more AKs in the hands of Omen Esports. On top of the smoke, Weenie goes down in the process. I think Fart got wall banged through a collateral. I don't know what happened to Fart.
It's just the unfortunateness of T-side Inferno.
Oh no, it's all dismantling. Sunk is gonna find himself a quad kill with that off, trying to jump down almost at the time to find the shot onto Dinner. Finding himself a second kill in this round of Absolute, also down to low HP. Utility now grabbed into his hands. Round's not completely over just yet, and he's gonna continue to swing forward, trying to find that kill. Low ammo, does find the third shot. I'm not gonna lie, when he full stopped, I thought that was it.
He's got time to work here. He's got a minute. He has to figure out this stack towards the mid side.
This final smoke, costly, as both of DrugsNPugs players are going to hold the line on that bomb. Jay Breezy holding the tight right, while Luke is trying not to be exposed to Boiler here, waiting for Dinner to make his move. Eventually, they're going to inch their way up lane, and that's going to be it. The final frag goes for DrugsNPugs, 13-5 on Inferno.
Yeah, the speed in which struggling. Their T side won that game right there. Getting in front of all the set utility from Omen, being able to be very effective with that through the smoke and the unfortunateness of dinner dying multiple times through that smoke spam as well.
Yeah.
Didn't really add up too well for the Omen Esports side. They're going to get a reset, though. They're going to get a chance to come back on Anubis here shortly.
Yeah, and I think it's as you said. I think speed was the name of this game for DrugsNPugs. They took it fast on their T side. They took it really fast on the conversion round on CT side. That won them so many of these rounds, and I think Omen Esports weren't ready for this type of pace change. And this is a really stark comparison to some of their previous matches together. And I think Omen Esports need to get their heads together for this second map and kind of just read that situation of how fast do they plan to go and how fast are they going to make it on some of their T rounds and as well as their CT rotates. So
very true.
This is going to be a very interesting series nonetheless. DrugsNPugs went out the first map on Inferno. We'll be back for map 2 in just a few minutes.
I'm a la 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 loner. La 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 loner. Every time I try to fit in, it ends up in misery. Yeah, socializing doesn't fit me, but I can get away so easy. I was born a misfit. Don't go with the cool kids. It's all overrated. No, I never missed it. I was born a misfit. Don't go with the cool kids. It's all overrated. I just didn't need it. I'm a la 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 loner. La 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 loner. La 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 loner. I'm an outlaw in this world.
Yeah, now you got me out in the deep. Feeling I'll be wrapped around your neck. When you burn me out like a cigarette. Yeah, drifting in the city, no sleep. Don't know where we headed for next. Maybe we should get lost in a sweet escape. You tease me and you touch me. I'm going crazy about it. Keep saying that it's nothing. So tell me what to do. I'm losing all my cool. Feeling like ain't nobody else around us. Ain't nobody else around us. Got me breaking all my rules. It's only me and you. Feeling like ain't nobody else around us. Ain't nobody else around us. Yeah, tell me lies like you mind crazy out of time flies. We begin to sky high. So what? Hey, no rush. Hey, turn the lights out. Do you wanna level up? Baby, let me fill your cup before we out of here. Do you wanna take it slow? Just let me know. You tease me and you touch me. I'm going crazy about it. Keep saying that it's nothing. So tell me what to do. I'm losing all my cool. Feeling like ain't nobody else around us. Ain't nobody else around us. Got me breaking all my rules. It's only me and you. Feeling like ain't nobody else around us. Ain't nobody else around us. Yeah.
Welcome back to OSS Season 8 playoffs. The semifinals kick off very hot for DrugsNPugs, 13-5 against Omen Esports. And this is actually a really more convincing start for DrugsNPugs. We were expecting this to be kind of a more balanced out game, probably closer to 13-9, 13-10, but they sweep up their Inferno map pretty convincingly. Now we move on to Omen Esports' pick of Anubis, and the last time that they played on Anubis together, DrugsNPugs won it out.
Yeah, 13-10. It's going to be a little bit of a different game this time. Omen Esports had a few more reps on Anubis. I think they're a little bit more tidy with their peaks. I feel like the utility usage is going to stall out the speed of DrugsNPugs this time. You can't just run up banana on Anubis. I know there's no banana on Anubis, but trying to pop through that B main smoke is not as easy as running with a Mac 10 up Inferno's banana side. You can't just sprint through water up into E-Box one at a time. You're going to get shut down, and Omen Esports is going to have to try to shut them down. Early utility from them is going to have to be very strong. Trades are going to have to be strong. The one thing I really want to highlight is Fart's consistency to have a poor map 1 and then top the charts on map 2. It's like he gets reinvigorated. He's excited. He doesn't want to get beat out 0-2, and he just starts slaying. And
Yep.
It's going to be fun to watch.
But also, not to discredit DrugsNPugs, all 5 of their players just absolutely fragging out, just really outperforming themselves in that first map of Inferno. We saw all of them really get together as a team to solidify their plays on the T side, to be able to walk their way into a site, and also on the CT side to aggress all at the same time, be able to hold the line together and take so much map control in the first 20 seconds on Inferno. And I would say that map control is pretty important on Inferno, but not nearly as important as, say, a map like Anubis, where taking B main pressure, taking outside A main, and just solidified that they're not even remotely close to the side of the map. It makes a world of difference because it's a lot harder to be able to rotate behind a site because cams can be a more tight angle and CT spawn is a little too exposed.
Hell yeah. Let's jump right into this game. Map 2, Anubis. This Omen Esports versus DrugsNPugs. If you're just joining us, this is off-season shenanigans. Semi-final number 2. Winner of this is going to meet In Control in the finals a little bit later this week. DrugsNPugs won map 1, 13-5 on Inferno. Now this is Omen Esports' pick, and they're on the CT side.
2 pairs of dualies on the CT side. And here comes the walkthrough from DrugsNPugs, close on the angles. Drew does find the first, the headshot on the Breezy. It's a trade back out. Absolute finds himself a double kill with the Glock in that position. Fart's going to be able to try to hold the line as long as possible. Absolute trying to take space towards Heaven. That bomb eventually going to get planted. Absolute swings out wide. Fart takes him out in the process. Serum trying to hold the line towards Heaven. Both TCG defenders right at the same spot as Luke finishes up a double kill to give DrugsNPugs the pistol.
I was waiting for those dualies to start ripping at B main there, or A main by Scroops. He gets one shot, takes one out, then immediate trade. DrugsNPugs pathing, getting into that A site was beautiful. Nothing could stop them. Quick bomb plant, then they overwhelmed Heaven. Great team play. Omen Esports, a little bit overwhelmed early. But Fart getting a good first kill. Confidence booster for him. He's not a kill around kind of guy. He's a kill every other round. So if he keeps this up, strong game for him.
And despite the dualies finding the opening frag from, I believe it was, who was it?
Scroops.
Was it Scroops? Yeah, Scroops found that opening frag and still could not really convert much off that. Oh no, Weenie missed the opportunity of a lifetime for a frag. Here comes the rotation through mid. Nobody on DrugsNPugs are turning around in time. Eventually, Sunk does make his way back out. Full HP. He's going to take out Scroops in the process. I don't know how Luke stayed alive there.
USPs from a distance, man. 2 headshots, 3 headshots, 19 and 3. You're wondering what's going on. You're like, come on, Counter-Strike. Come on, Gaben, give me a win for this. But it just didn't work out. Luke 180 flipped around. What I want to point out there from that round, though, is DrugsNPugs went heavy on the rifles. And they just did the pack mentality. Walk into the site, play the trades. And it worked. It was perfect. Get the first contact, quick freeze. Get a second contact. And they're going right at it again.
Right back into the fray, trying to take that space towards the B site. Only one lurk on the A site. That may gonna get a little bit of chip damage, but Rue goes out wide. He finds himself a double, almost a triple kill on the spray. Jay Breeze is gonna be the one to entry in, but the damage is done. Dinner finds the frag. Sunk alone with 13 HP all the way towards the B site. That bomb is out in the open. He's gonna have to smoke it off just to recover that in time. Eventually Will backs up in the process, so he has that bomb in his control now, and he has to wait for Absolute to be the playmaker for DrugsNPugs. But this round, it's going to look a little bit too dangerous to try to get back into.
Internal timer, Scroobs, internal timer. They're re-clearing the B site. They're trying to take this space. They know the A flank is possible. You can see Scroobs already aware of it. So many Esports understanding of timings and rotations pretty strong so far. Fart might be calling this.
Not going to be exposed to CT long here, and eventually it's going to be a full rotation for Omen Esports, despite
Fart
not clearing out that B
here.
main.
Fart has to stay here, allow the plant to go down, and wait for that retake to come in through Temple side. If it's quick enough, they can jump, but if he overextends and dies, that's going to be DrugsNPugs potentially on 3.
Now Molotov now gives away information. Here comes Dinner pushing forward, finds that opening frag again. 1 versus 3, Sunk. Has to do it all. Still, the bomb on his back. If he can isolate this one-on-one fight, it can mean a world of difference, but it's not in the process as Fart cleans up the frag. And Omen Esports, they get their first round on the board pretty quickly.
3 surviving as well. Economy is going to be bolstered. Rotate off A site was a little bit early, I think, but the pressure that they were feeling towards B, Fart took control of that. Boys, let's start clearing our space back out. Give up B site. Play a retake. It was a correct call. Beautiful call by Fart. Beautiful play. Rue getting those 2 on the entries as well as they entered the site. Very reminiscent of his hold for Banana on Inferno. Good to see.
And Omen Esports need a lot more of that in order to bring themselves into the 3rd map. Nonetheless, win out in the series to stay alive in the playoffs here. Semifinals. We'll only have 2 more matches to go, but still. Very difficult series up ahead against In Control. Winner of this moves up.
I don't envy either of these teams going to play In Control.
Nope.
They were looking extremely powerful the other night. They're ready for ECL Season 50. Get right back into the fray.
Oh, the swing from the Tech 9 opens up that first frag. Serum gets it done. Weenie dodging the flash, trying to hold that angle. He finds himself the double kill. And here comes the spam through the smoke again from Luke. DrugsNPugs have been able to get so many spams through smokes. Dinner going to try to hold the line against Jay Breezy in full mid, right across the angle. Jay Breezy finds the better of him in the moment. 2 versus 3, Omen Esports split on their defense. Fart only with that MP9 again towards the A site. Going to make it very challenging. But DrugsNPugs, they kind of look a little bit nervous on which site they want to take. Eventually, they're grouping up back towards the B site, and Rue rotates off. I have to go down a little bit more towards Temple and CT spawn. A dicier retake for Omen Esports, as they can't really set themselves up for a standard smoke, but they don't have to worry so much about B main clears in that position.
Trying to do math to see what their buy is going to be like next round. Weenie can buy himself, Scroops can buy himself, Fart can drop one if these two save. He might even be able to go pick up an AK or a Galil or an M4 towards A main. He will. There's an AK, brother. Oh, yeah.
So it's a save from Omen Esports again, trying to build up their economy a little bit more. And they just have to not lose out towards mid-swing here.
This is DrugsNPugs finding good rotational timing against a seemingly over-rotating Omen Esports. I know CT side is very difficult. 4 rounds is pretty good. 5 rounds is better. Starting off like this, DrugsNPugs finding those gaps pretty easily. They are losing a lot of space, but finding the gaps pretty easily is going to give them pretty strong success on their T-side campaign of Anubis. Omen Esports coming back in with what looks like a half buy.
Sorta, yeah. I mean, they have a Tech 9 in the hands of Fart from one of the saved players. They have a couple upgraded pistols and utility. I'd say this is more of like a little bit of a save from Omen Esports, just trying to make do with what they have already. Script's not going to take any utility damage or try to lurk his way out through the smoke. They know that those smokes have been the bane of their existence. Jay Breezy actually gets tagged down to low outside of B main. Weenie's aggressive here, but he's all alone here in this position. Does find himself the double kill. Dinner trying to hold on to the B side as long as possible. The dink on the Serum down to low HP. 5 HP is, and here comes the rush from Weenie to try to close off this angle. Serum tucked on top of the box. Dinner knows where he is. Yep, there goes his gun. The bomb down towards T-spawn, or excuse me, with Absolute towards T-spawn, as Sunk is the only one towards the A site. Omen Esports give off the fake that they've cut off Canal's rotation, so the A site just looking a little bit too dire for DrugsNPugs to really get back into. They have to work their way through mid, and Scroops hasn't given away any information towards Heaven here, and now this is going to become a little bit awkward. Rotating off the A site little by little. And still, the no contact from DrugsNPugs make taking the site a lot more difficult, and the retake even more challenging.
Again, they found the gap.
Yeah, that gap to plant the bomb is probably the most crucial thing here. The money going to be a little bit more in their favor, but still, more stacked up Omen Esports. They have a third gun in their hands. Dinner to trade off to that Tech 9. Inching his way through Heaven. Scroops trying to hold that angle against Absolute. Not ready for the swing, as Absolute does find that headshot. Bart makes his way into the middle of sight. He has the only kit in hand. Gonna try to stick to defuse, and no one from Heaven is sneaking onto the bomb, and it's already still with the round. Effectively as a ninja defuse with no utility, no backup towards Heaven.
Classic Omen Esports round. All right, boys, we're on a low buy. Let's focus on teamwork. What do? Teamwork. Okay, yeah, 2 sweet kills are towards B main on a single trade. They kill the guy towards E box. Then they set themselves up for a relatively easy retake on that A site through A main with a ninja defuse. That's what we need to see. Omen Esports, team play, making sure the team's coming first, using that 6th and 7th man, being the utility, being the rotations, and stopping DrugsNPugs in their tracks. Look at the money for DrugsNPugs. A Tech 9 on Jay Breezy.
I mean, they still have plenty of utility to work with. I think they wanted to work on utility the most, and that's what they kind of wanted to do. But what makes this so much more important is that Omen Esports could afford a full buy into this round, and the fact that that they got that diffuse off just really puts DrugsNPugs into an awkward position. They have to, again, put that pace change into effect, try to get their way back into any sort of map control within the first 20 seconds of the round. And that's what they're going to try to do in that position. Obviously, Serum getting full flashed off the angle makes it so that he has to give up mid control. But that's when you start taking it back towards the B site. That's when you know control is at its weakest. Rue gets spotted out towards the back of B bomb side, and he's gonna try to make his impact on the round. Nade, good. Sun's down to 2 HP. There goes Luke as well. The crossfire is getting perfect as Rue. Okay, he stays alive just long enough. Serum left in the 1 versus 3, trying to do it all. Bomb to be recovered, but here comes the rotation from Scroobs outside of E-Box. Now he knows the pressure is on. He has to be able to clear this angle off, but it's Weenie with the AWP as Omen Esports ties up the game.
They caught themselves on their early rotation off of B and made it back just in time. Dinner and Rue cleaning up 4 kills on that hold out of position. Spotted, not even noticed that they're spotted, and they still get it done. That's Omen Esports we like to see in the money. Destroyed on DrugsNPugs. Let's go.
And
Omen
Rue was
Esports making a little bit of recovery.
Rue was alone for a little bit there. He was actually alone once he threw that Molotov towards E-Box, and most of DrugsNPugs were still B main. After that first little bit of contact, I would have said that DrugsNPugs could have actually pushed a little bit faster, pushed a little bit further, and take that B main control and just swing out the pillar and swing out towards Pizza and have all of the site to their liking to take out Rue in that position. But it didn't work out that way. They stalled.
It did not.
Just like they're stalling on the pistol round here. A couple Molotovs on top of the carpet boost. And sure, Sunk has a little bit more mid control, but they didn't get anything towards the A site. And Rue already found his impact towards B, making his presence very well known.
Going up 5-4 is excellent too. Nice and early. Set up a crossfire on the site. But here it comes.
Uh-oh, nade in hand again. Rue barely pulls out his gun in time. And that smoke cover off the rest of DrugsNPugs. Dinner takes out Sunk in the mid. 5 versus 2. Barely any players on the CT side taking any damage. 45 seconds on the clock. Eventually the first... Oh, wait, that's a disconnect from Weenie. So a little bit of a slip up. Rue finds another...
Caster curse.
Rue finds another frag towards the B site. Absolute has to get anything done to get some damage in. Try to find any money for DrugsNPugs. It doesn't work out that way. And to be fair, it still wasn't much damage. They only got 30 total damage between 5 of their players from DrugsNPugs. But the disconnect from Weenie is a little bit odd. And I'm actually very curious what happened.
Yeah, I could tell you're a little bit shook there when you're like, barely any damage to the CT side, and then he disconnects. I'm like, caster curse, caster curse.
I deadass thought somebody got 1 digged, and I just missed it for half a second in the kill feed, and then I look back at the kill feed, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was a disconnect.
Yeah. Oh, look at the kill disparity here. Scroob's on 1, Dinner up to 7. DrugsNPugs pretty even.
Yeah,
even across the board.
6 kills for Rainey as well. So 3 of their players kind of succeeding pretty well. Scroobs and Fart. Both of those players are not on the B side. They're playing more towards A and mid. So maybe not just finding as much optimal gunfights as they really want into this one, having to rotate on the rounds that they lost, and the rounds that they won, they just barely had any contact.
Very true. This is going to be the first time DrugsNPugs has a pretty strong buy, I would say, in a while. They had the 2 saved rifles that they forced into that wasn't great. They just lost this past round that was just USPs. So this is 3 rounds in a row. They're finally getting what they want. Jay Breezy's still on the MAC-10 and a Galil on Absolute. Op is still really yet to make its presence on the DrugsNPugs side, and we saw how influential it was on Inferno, especially on their T side, which was a little bit different. I didn't think it was going to be as powerful as it could have been, but it was. Took space, did a great job. As soon as Weenie gets back in here, we'll be jumping back into this, and I assume Dinner's probably going to drop that op to him, because if they're playing double op against a fast, it might spell disaster kind of early.
And thankfully, someone was able to pick up Weenie's op when he disconnected from the server, so they wouldn't really have to buy into another $4,000 gun. Technical pause from the server is subsided, but this is going to be the 5-minute tech pause from Omen Esports, as they're still waiting for Weenie to get back in as soon as possible. I guess let's talk about DrugsNPugs right off the start of this map. A little bit of a slower start on their T side. Obviously, they had the first couple of rounds, as well as preventing a conversion round from Omen Esports with that bomb. But still, Omen keeping those 2 guns alive and saving into that one netted them the defuse to come through in the following round, and that pushed DrugsNPugs' economy into a little bit of a spiral, despite having 2 more guns at the end of that round. And
Yeah.
it's we saw the kill disparity from Omen Esports, but between DrugsNPugs, most of their players are kind of balanced out here, 5 and 4 kills on each of these players. So each one of them still performing decently well. I think they're just missing a lot of these individual fights towards the B site. They're kind of not playing B site as a full unit as much as they really would hope to, because we saw that they would stack up and everything, but so many one-on-one fights or 2-on-2 fights just didn't really work out in their favor. And one round in particular was Weenie pushing through B main on the 2-gun round on Omen Esports, the one that led them to defuse. We saw Weenie do an aggressive push on his own through B main, just with a single flash from his teammate, and he still opened up a double kill and still got more guns in the hands for Omen Esports to be able to win out that round. It was a completely different cycle.
Very true. I agree. DrugsNPugs a little bit slow on these rifle rounds, on these post pistol and conversion rounds. Has to be trend right now. Pushing into that site, they were relatively successful. Once they've slowed down, giving Omen Esports chances to take, it's becoming more so for them. And DrugsNPugs needs a reset right now. This is their chance to tie back up or start control. Because if you let Omen Esports get to 5 in the first 9 rounds of their CT side of your map pick of Anubis, I guess it's Omen Esports pick. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you said that they go fast B. I think that B is a little bit more locked down with Rue and Weenie playing towards there, especially with that op on the B site. It becomes a little bit more tricky. I think fast mid is one of the best takes that DrugsNPugs can do right now. I think Scroob is getting pressured a little bit too much towards that mid position and towards A, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest calls they can do. Have 2 players delayed out through A main and the rest of your players pushing aggressively through mid with utility to set up, and that's what they're going to try to do right up the rim. They're going to flush far back with a couple Molotovs. Jay Breezy has that MAC-10 to try to take it as forward as possible. A flash on the angle, and now Fart's going to be a little bit under pressure trying to hold that line despite nobody being that close and personal. And Omen East or DrugsNPugs, they stalled out again. What could have been the fast mid take with that MAC-10 and with the utility turns into nobody that quickly. Jay Breeze is getting volleyed to give away the information, and Fart opens up the kill. Now mid is gone.
Yeah, great trade of util from Omen Esports there. Re-peek to take the fight from Fart. Very standard play from him. He loves to re-aggress to take early info that he had just lost, and he's been successful at it so far in this round.
Luke to be the only person on the B side trying to hold on top of that smoke. Maybe catch a rotate as soon as that smoke fades. DrugsNPugs are going to make their way out towards the A site. Op does actually find a shot, but the trades are there. Serum finds himself a double kill to open up the site, but Dinner comes right back through, killing Luke in the process on the B site. So the lurk is gone, and DrugsNPugs are going to try to stack up towards Heaven here, try to take that forward positioning on a little bit of an off angle. That bomb sort of planted for them in that position with a little bit more cover on the other side of Cake, as Fart's going to still try to get that entry in with that MP9. Flash, not good, but the shots are perfect. Serum goes down, sunk down to 52 HP, has a nade in hand. Fart swings him, and he can't convert in time, as Omen Esports will get on top of that bomb in the nick of time and get themselves the 5th round.
Nice. Fart controlled the rotates there. You saw them wanting to get away from him from that camera position. I guarantee he came over the mic. Boys, no stop. We're going in as 3 play effective trades, and that's what they did. That's a great retake from Omen Esports there. And DrugsNPugs with that bomb plant, going to be able to get a buy back into this round. Maybe not. Serum looks like he's selling. That's going to be a huge confidence booster for Omen Esports. And DrugsNPugs still finding those gaps, still finding those entries when they do, in fact, execute onto a site. So pretty standard play still from both these teams from what we could expect from them.
In the last 8 rounds, only 3 times that bomb has gotten planted from DrugsNPugs, and out of the 3 rounds, 2 of them have been defused by Omen Esports. So their bomb plants have been a little bit worse for wear, as well as the retakes. Going in favor for Omen Esports so far. DrugsNPugs, they still have the opportunity, they still have the firepower, they have been strong, but they're gonna be running into stacks upon stacks and B main going to be dismantled. Luke does find a shot, but it's going to be Rue to get the trade frag right back out. Luke has to do it all. The 1 versus 4, ace clutch on the line. He finds himself the second frag, trying to isolate the one-on-one fights, and Weenie might be able to give it to him if he doesn't take too long to take into Rue. Okay, he almost found that shot, but Weenie does find the op kill as Omen Esports wipe away the B site.
Yeah, DrugsNPugs trying to just bully their way onto the B site, but Omen Esports ready. They had a little bit of a plan there. Anti-eco style. I think it was Dinner and Fart, just the M4s, left side of Obelisk. Set up and down, high, low, whatever you want to call it. Quick spray down for 3, and that's all she wrote right there. Great round from Omen Esports. DrugsNPugs back with the buy. Ooh, op unsunk.
Hey, Henry, what were you saying about those fast B takes?
In my defense, those fast B takes worked on the pistol in the second round and with weapons, or at least equivalent weapons. So,
well, that's when Omen Esports was at more of a disadvantage. Now they've got buy rounds in, and they have the money to work with.
And a great setup from Fart and Dinner, countering that eco play from DrugsNPugs. Just another first tack timeout from DrugsNPugs.
First of the series.
Yeah, trying to reset what they're trying to get done here, and maybe it changes. Sunk with that op. Hopefully we can get a good op v op battle between him and Weenie.
Obviously, they need to be able to make that op count, to make it ring, and finding the frag onto Weenie will be the most important thing. But also trying to find a frag towards the A site can open up a realm of possibilities, because then you only have to hold the line towards cameras while your teammates take that heaven space, which they've been able to do successfully on their A post plan. First frag goes
faint aggression.
Yeah.
B main. Weenie rotates immediately out. That was aggression A main and B main at the exact same time from Omen Esports. That might have been a little bit of an overstep.
Oh, Sunk barely tucks into the corner with that AWP. Dinner spots him out. Eventually, Weenie's going to be there with the AWP. Missed shot. Oh, he converts. Dinner goes down. Sunk's going to re-swing. Does find Weenie's up. Good night. Fart's the only one towards the A site, and he's under pressure from both sides. The only thing that held on to him for now was that A main smoke. Good on the first shot, trying to find that conversion onto Sunk. Down to 16 HP. That's true. Inches his way back out to the B site, goes down to the hands of Luke. As Fart's alone in that 1 versus 4, trying to convert a little bit more damage, trying to get some more kills on the board. But DrugsNPugs secure that 4th round towards the A site in too many critical oversights from Omen Esports.
Yeah. B main and A main push at the same time against what you should have been able to presume was a full buy because you just played your perfect anti-eco. And they lose the fight A main, getting a bit of information B main. And it ends up biting them in the ass. Time you're ever going to push B main or inspect B main or fight B main is when you have 3 on B. And DrugsNPugs read that. Split mid, split A main, split A essentially from mid and A main, and it was beautiful. Great round from them, but this is going to be a full buy coming in from Omen Esports too. They got tons of money going around.
I think Scroobs wanted to try to be the playmaker there. Fast A main in that position, but Sarum was right there on the angle with that AK in hand. It's a way too dangerous call in these gun rounds for Omen Esports to really be trying to make a really wild haymaker play. Like you have to keep your diligence, you have to keep your patience, because that's what won you so many Anubis rounds in the round of 16. You gotta be able to show off that effort, show off that caution.
They've already got 6 though on their CT side, so it's looking pretty good.
I mean, that is true, but DrugsNPugs, obviously with Sunk being a really strong opper in that position, they would have a relatively decent CT hold. They have Omen Esports really have to try to get more rounds on the board. Too many nades to be thrown out. 2 players go down, and here comes Troop trying to swing off the angle. Gets a lot of chip damage. He gets volleyed back out of position. Luke finds the frag eventually. As Dinner and Troop cut off from cameras with smoke. The bomb to get planted for DrugsNPugs, and looks like a save round from Omen Esports. 5th round on the board for DrugsNPugs.
I don't want to call Weenie out on that one, but he had information from his teammate watching the cross from camera on a relatively small pixel angle with a Molotov in hand, and Weenie went for a fight I don't think he needed to go for. swung out towards mid. Shot landed between two terrorists, and they put him down with the AKs, kind of opening the A site up. And the T's flood in like the T's do, overwhelm the A site. That's all she wrote. No rotates coming in. Nothing more that Omen Esports can do in this round, but saving 2 rifles. Force Bile coming in next round. This is the 12th round. That might give them a chance to get to 7, but 6-6 is going to be a great recovery.
Oh,
A great recovery for DrugsNPugs on this half, but 7-5 would feel a little bit better for Omen Esports.
Another tack pause. This one called by DrugsNPugs from the looks of it.
Yeah, Serum, just a regular old pause. Game's
So-
back on. I think that was a short little tech pause, actually.
Yeah, it was a tech pause. Just
You can see what he's writing in chat. I'm not going to read it.
I can't because I have a HUD on.
He just said his mom was screaming in the background, so we had to take a pause.
his.
That's all right. Happens.
It's fair
Fart
enough.
sacrificial lamb with the MP9, but we see what the MP9 can do, especially on a map with tight corners like Anubis. Play close A main, play close mid double doors. Can even play close B main, but the DrugsNPugs, they have nade stack and Molotovs that land at the pillars, so that won't work out too well for Fart if he does end up standing there.
I gotta wonder. I have to wonder. Fart goes with an MP9 a lot of times instead of playing with an M4 and a little bit less utility. Or even sometimes when he can get more utility with a rifle like a FAMAS, he always goes for the MP9. I think he wants to play for the swings from DrugsNPugs, see if they try to take his position relatively fast and try to find that double dink. But sometimes it's actually led to his demise where he just didn't have the firepower necessary to get that kill, and sometimes I think that maybe they really shouldn't be doing this in that position. And again, Sunk with a really fast quickscope onto Weenie from the initial shoulder peek. He has been lightning fast with some of these kills. Again, that op proving deadly. Scroops again trying to get the frag in towards A main. Does get the dink in the process. And it's up to Fart to hold on to that A main swing again with that MP9, playing that close angle. But Absolute might be able to find his head on the shoulder peak as Fart is playing close on that angle, getting a little bit antsy as well.
Absolute just has to hold this space. He can't overextend. He has to win this fight cleanly. And now the rotations from DrugsNPugs are in. Fart had the right timing to peek.
The collateral as well. Sunk gets a double effectively as Dinner goes down to Luke in the end. 6-all.
Great half from Omen Esports. Realistically, I think that's a great half. Losing pistol and second round, and you still got 6 gun rounds under your belt. I mean, some ecos, great eco plays, ninja defuse, you can't really count that in, count that out. But 6 rounds, Anubis, CT side, your map pick, you're pretty happy with that going on to your T side.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the 6 rounds on CT side is pretty good because obviously some teams are a little bit more T favored going into a map like Anubis, and it's up to them to really be able to figure their plan out going for the B-side hold. This is a setup that I've actually seen a few times in pro play where they go for the initial information on pistol through B main, find out where the heads of a couple players are, and they're gonna have that stack leaning towards the B site. They're gonna play for these one-on-one fights on the off timings, but okay, that actually turned on its head. Drew found himself a double kill. Weenie also finds himself the second on the Sunk in towards E-Box on the turbo swing. Absolute, he doesn't have the armor to work with. He has a kit and a smoke to get his way on towards that bomb. Omen Esports, they just have to hold this line on the CT cross. That smoke has now faded. Getting back into the site, he made his presence known by a few footsteps, and that smoke might be able to land on top of the bomb. Oh, it's too deep. That smoke doesn't land anywhere near. Both these players from being made have all the opportunity in the world. Weenie found himself the kill through the smoke. Omen Esports found their pistol.
Omen Esports have updated their pistol. I don't know if you were watching that stack, that like the line that they created entering B site. It was almost 5 Glocks appearing all at once. First click from Luke takes him down, but then overwhelming crosshairs just in the exact same location. entering that site. Beautiful trades from Omen Esports. Team play on point, chef's kiss. And now they just have to not lose to USPs and a P2000. And we've seen it happen before. We've seen them get pushed, lose an AK, get overwhelmed, and the round ends up becoming spoiled for them. But good util towards mid is going to stop any kind of aggression from DrugsNPugs.
So much damage on the mid utility of this suitor. Jay Breezy, the Mac 10, found himself a double kill. That's money in his pocket. The one Mac 10 in the hands of Luke can possibly get the work done. And they're going to throw all the utility towards that B site, lock themselves in. And Scroops, holding outside of A main, knows where presence is not. So they can safely say that their E-box is fully covered. And they know to spread out. Weenie with that AK taking out Absolute. Gets his back in, or gets his head in towards cover in time. And Luke's not going to re-aggress any further with that Mac 10. Sunk might try to find an exit frag here. But the lesser weaponry just really beckons the other side. Okay, well, missed shots from Mac 10, down to low ammo. Still trying to re-aggress, 6 bullets left in the clip. Has to reload eventually. Maybe Sunk has an opportunity here to get another SMG. But the jumping Mac 10 says otherwise. Omen Esports, now they start to get a little bit more of a convincing lead, as well as the money in their pockets on the T side.
Very much so. That's a clean conversion round. 5 USPs essentially. Information gained by Fart, and then he just commands the troops, boys, execute B site. A little bit of utility, trades. I don't even mind that like over clear of E-box. We knew that it was clear. We were watching it. Scroops had all the information from carpets that no one had dropped realistically into water, and they still took their time. And I don't even mind that at all. I think that's good team play. That's good communication. That's good understanding of rotations and gaps. And it gets them an extremely good round win. 4 alive. Money's bolstered. Mac 10's still out on the playing field.
I like this setup from Omen Esports because they know Sunk was possibly holding with an op in mid, considering it was the choke point wasn't smoked off. It was mollied off to prevent an immediate rush. That's when Weenie knows not to overextend out of mid, despite wanting that initial mid pressure. Now he's gonna find that right timing. Sunk is a dead man in the water. A free frag for them, and the big green out of the round entirely, considering it was too deep in mid. Luke finds a trade frag on the far, but the damage is so much in Omen Esports' favor. They have the opportunity to really go anywhere. Jay Breezy trying to hold on to E-box as long as possible with that MP9. Serum eventually making his way out through Temple, trying to get back towards the B site. Absolute again on the rotate out of A, trying to hold that line. Weenie still holding B main towards long, not taking an initial gunfight if he doesn't need to. That MP9 looks to want to re-aggress after E-box doesn't find its impact on the round. Absolute tucking back to sight, trying to find the initial frag, cannot get the damage done. Serum back sight goes down. Weenie finds that frag. It's all down to Luke. 23 HP, just saved the 1 M4. Omen Esports completely on top of this round.
Yeah, almost no faults in that round from the Omen Esports guys. Like, and I say almost, like Fart only one to die towards A main, but he did so much damage with that Mac 10. A couple of dinks onto the 2 defenders. It was a trade. He then just told his boys, walk back towards B. You're going to find this great timing, enter the site with good utility, good crosshairs, good crosshair placement. That's exactly what they did. And it's looking good. Omen Esports, a little bit of revitalization from their Inferno game. Fart getting on the board. Not at the bottom of the scoreboard, not at the top at all, but he's running his team pretty well on their T side right now, and he needs to keep it up.
Yeah, and obviously we're in the second half of this map. You have less rounds to work with. Effectively, you're playing a short match, first to 7 rounds, considering you had such an even scoreline. Now you're already halfway through this second half. You have to make more work.
It's going to get closer now. They're going to break that halfway mark of that 7-round win streak that they're going to need here. And it's another not great buy from DrugsNPugs. Upgraded pistols plus that saved M4 on Luke. And again, this is where Omen Esports struggled when we watched them before. Single rifle, maybe full Desert Eagles kind of pushing against them. They get a little bit horny for the kills and end up losing out.
missed off, but not what you want to see right at the start of the round. Spam through the smoke. Serum, if he gets the right timing, he can almost find the head of one, but they're going to exit outside of that B main smoke. They know the rotation is going to come through from DrugsNPugs, but Absolute, he doesn't want to overstep in towards Canals, doesn't want to give away that free frag. He only wants to hold that tight angle as long as possible. And so Omen Esports, they're giving away a little bit more map control to try to retake another part of the map. And Serum has possibly read the situation, playing the off angle with that Deagle, and Fart gets disciplined a little bit by his own teammate's flash. Here comes the walkout through the doors, finds himself the first frag. Will he be ready for the second one? Dinks onto Luke. Luke could almost not find that frag in towards mid with a little bit of a risky spray. Jay Breezy, backside of B, has to do a lot with that 5-7, but his teammate's already coming through. But again, with Luke down to low HP, his impact has to be perfect. He's eventually going to swing. The timing's right. The nade out in hand for one of their players. Jay Breezy's down to low as well. The only other player with armor effectively in the site. Absolute's already pushed through E-Box here, but Scroops found himself the double kill through the smoke. Here comes Absolute, but cannot get anything done with that 5-7 as DrugsNPugs lose out their only M4 in that round, and not still recovered for Omen.
Yeah, that's Fart once again sacrificing his body, sacrificing his lesser weaponry to go up mid and get information. He gets that information, relays it to his team, makes a quick call from the grave, and they're successfully taking this B site every time they go there. They lose one, they trade out immediately, set the utility up, spam where they need to spam, wait till it's clear, get the call to plant, put it down, and win this round. And this is a huge recovery from Omen Esports from what we saw on Inferno.
Still need to be able to close out this game in a convincing fashion. Absolute trying to find that early information towards the A main. He's going to get Molly back, so there goes that pressure initially. Scroops entering in towards E-Box, finds the frag onto Jay Breezy, who hasn't found much success later in this game. It's Serum to hold on to B-side as long as possible. Out of ammo, still missed shots. Fart eventually cleans that up. Dinner, a dead man walking. Still, that nade gonna land. The bomb plant denied just for a moment. And the flank coming around from Absolute outside of B main. Will they be ready on this position? Fart just gonna hang around towards Pizza here, worrying about E-Box control, and their utility is gone. DrugsNPugs still have a lot more to work with, and that Temple Smoke is going to be the only thing that holds Luke off that angle, but he may just disrespect that. Eventually, Absolute's going to walk right through B main. Weenie holding the line, finds the first shot with that AWP. Absolute going to try to do his best to get back in. Oh, he gets the leg shot. Weenie trying to hold that line. Molotov on top of the bomb. No kit to work with. Has to try to recover one in the back of sight. Smoke on top of the bomb as well. Just picked up the time. Julie's out. Missed shot. Will he find
That's
it?
where it's planted.
Doesn't! Weenie does not get the kill in time as Absolute steals away the ninja defuse.
It's one ninja defuse each, but Omen Esports, they didn't communicate where that bomb was planted. Weenie came flying out those dualies trying to spam that cubby default position, but didn't realize it was along the back wall. Finally gets the kill at the end after the bomb was defused. I bet his teammates are screaming at him, "It's to the right! It's planted open, bro!" And he just, gets the kill. Losing that round is going to be tough. Chance for 11, chance to get closer to the end.
Their money's still very well in their favor. Weenie saving that AWP as well as 10K to his bank. They have plenty of money to work with for the next couple rounds, so it's not the biggest loss in the world. And this could actually act as a hard reset as DrugsNPugs. They got 3,500 on the round, but their loss bonus takes a step back. And P9s and a FAMAS in their hands. Their weaponry looking a bit dire. Scroobs flashed off the angle, but not going to be fragged whatsoever. As Absolute cannot find that entry frag in towards the A main position.
Utility for Omen Esports. Pretty heavy right now with a minute on the clock. Minute left, and there's almost nothing left for DrugsNPugs.
But they still have a B site stack here. Jay Breezy's going to entry with that MP9. Down to 18 HP on his dog shot. Weenie eventually finds that frag with that dualies. Scroop still holding the line for that A main frag. Flash, not good, but still going to find Absolute in the process. Bomb goes down as Weenie falls apart. And here comes the rotation from Brew, trying to find that frag. Entry good on the first. Serum holds the line, though, as Dinner not going to spot him from Catwalk. Eventually drops down. Serum down to 46 HP. Dinner's pressure is now known, as Luke is nowhere to support that, nowhere to hold that bomb. 25 seconds on the clock. He knows the B site player is a little bit worse for wear, but Serum's going to take that pressure towards B main. Be able to hold the line as long as possible. Dinner has to read the situation, doesn't know where the last player has gone. He's gonna try for that safe plant, tap on top of the bomb. Serum gonna re-aggress, he makes his footsteps known. Now he knows that B main position is faltered. He's gonna try to play for Temple. Here's the footsteps of Luke. Cannot get gun out in time. The money's still there for Omen Esports on the bomb plant for DrugsNPugs. They're gonna try to get this round closer.
Yeah, late round or mid-round play from DrugsNPugs to try to get out towards E-Box is kind of forced by the double Molotov, and it's successful for them. It looked like they were setting up for a flash play, maybe a nade stack. They had 3 over in that direction. As soon as that molly hits, Big Breezy steps in front of it, realizes there's only one in that E-Box position, and they're able to turn their sights towards A main.
A big kicker. That op barely recovered in time by Luke 4K. He was searching for that op everywhere in the middle of the water. He just could not find it. So now Sunk has the AWP in hand. He's been a complete massacre. And if he can get more damage done, it means the world. And it's up to Omen Esports to really just avoid that. Fast E-Box aggression and fast Canal's aggression from Jay Breezy, taking all that space out through Cat. Rue not going to peek out in time. Eventually, it's going to be mid to ball wayside as the CT smoke is just a little bit too deep for Jay Breezy to get that information. But here's Luke trying to get that flash in to try to retake that control, but not going to find the initial frags. It's going to be so awkward between both these two teams to try to take mid, to try to take outside of B. And Rue fell off of carpets. Jay Breezy's still here with an MP9. Holding on to that close angle on stairs.
Rue is definitely ready for this, though. He has some sort of feeling they're here.
I think
Spots the info A main. Playing passive. This is the right play by Rue. He just needs to keep this space in the hands of the T's, hopefully get a late rotate in.
Luke's gonna take that contact out through mid, gonna smoke himself off from the camera's angle. Now they can isolate the fights in towards the A site. Absolute still holding that head glitch angle. Rue finally finds Jay Breezy. That's the first frag, 1:10 into the round. 40 seconds on the clock for them to try to get back towards any site, and they're more stacked towards the A site. E-Box control is in the hands of the AWP, which means the op is not going to be anywhere posted on A. Absolute's going to take that forward presence towards A main, try to find that frag. Digs on top of Rue, trying to find that jumping shot with an MP9. Rue cannot convert the kill. Skinner trying to find the frag in towards Heaven. He does. Weenie also finds himself a frag in towards mid onto Serum. Weenie holds the line on a rotating Sunk, and this round is over.
Just a slow creep up mid by Omen Esports. Expecting a little bit of aggression towards water, maybe. They have a read on this kind of buy from DrugsNPugs. And Rue played that fantastic over towards carpets. He realized the timing was there. He even went back towards T-stairs to re-smoke E-Box off. Nothing more I can say about that. That round was won by Rue. He didn't win the second fight towards A main, but he got the information. He stopped the aggression, didn't overextend into anything, and Omen Esports allowed to get an 11th on the board here. This AK going into the next round for DrugsNPugs is probably going to be one of the only things they have.
I'm going to be honest. I think Rue got a really great entry and gave Omen Esports an advantage to the round, but Absolute taking that forward A main presence with that MP9, getting that trade frag. He upgraded his gun and opened up a realm of possibilities for the retake, but it was up to Weenie to be able to get that double kill in towards mid to deny an early rotate and early retake before the bomb even got planted in that position. And once Sunk gone down, it was a game, set, and match for that round.
Combination of great plays across the board for Omen Esports. Not even that bad for DrugsNPugs either. Like, great mid-aggression just at the wrong time. They realized they found a gap there. A main shoulder gets spotted out, unfortunate. So Rue had a little bit more information than he needed. And then a self-smoke from the CTs to block off their own vision into camera was a little bit interesting. Maybe a little haphazard. A force by coming in from DrugsNPugs.
Cameras and Temple.
True, yes. That's what I meant to say. Temple, I apologize.
No, you're still right. They also smoked themselves off camera, smoked off both choke points into mid, knowing that Omen Esports was stacked there. It almost worked out because they stalled them for so long. It was getting to the late rounds by the time that they really made a decision on A. Late E-Box aggression from the MP9 of Jay Breezy. Again, he had a strong start at the very beginning of this map, but has only gotten 2 kills in the last 10 rounds.
Yikes.
His impact has been lackluster compared to his normal performance throughout OSS Season 8. I've seen Jay Breezy pull off several multi-frags constantly between several maps, and we just haven't seen this so far on Anubis.
Let's watch him dodge this flash.
Oh,
He's
he's
got
gonna
out.
dodge it because he's gonna walk away for a second. E-main flash, Weenie goes down. Trade frag right back out from dinner on the angle. Scroob still holding close in towards E-Box, but Rue is gonna turn his back just temporarily. The flash is good temp for a second, but Scroob is gonna be there. Finishes off the frag onto Luke. Here comes the A-main rush. Sunk gets the better of Rue for the first one. They're still pressured out in this angle. Catwalk and lower gonna hold that line. Jay Breezy picks up an AK in the process, so he gets that upgrade that he needs. But Fart's already cut off this rotate, playing close in towards Temple. Jay Breezy's not gonna clear the close angle. Omen Esports, they move up to 12, and we have a map 3 on the line.
We do. I was about to say farts at a stinky angle, but then I resisted. I was going to laugh too
Bruh.
hard. But yes, Omen Esports, map point here on Anubis, their map pick. And we could be seeing a rematch of Nuke from ESEA Season 53, a 1917 victory for DrugsNPugs, and Omen Esports. They might want to bring this back.
That map 3 on Nuke is going to be the telltale for the storyline in this matchup. DrugsNPugs want to try to deny that as much as possible. They have the advantage with that map up, but they're losing it almost convincingly against Omen Esports inside Anubis. And Scroobs finds that opening frag onto Jay Breezy. Luke is going to try to reaggress as soon as possible, but B-main falls apart as Bart tries to get more frags in as Absolute's pressured in E-Box. Sunks last alive. The 1 versus 5 into a 1 versus 4. Ace clutch on the line to save Anubis, but map 3 is there for Omen Esports. They have it in their grasp. The utility in their hands as well as they try to hold this line. Sunk has to do it all, and he doesn't have a kid, so the timing is just not there for him. Dodge for the flashes. Sunk is down to 21 HP. Still, that time is ticking on the bomb. Omen Esports have this on lock, and Weenie is going to finish it off 13-8. We're going to Nuke.
Oh yeah, we are. This storyline keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Going back to its grassroots here, the map one we talked about, the map that put DrugsNPugs into Season 53 playoffs in advance, their win on Nuke over Top Esports. We're about to get to see it again, and I'm pretty excited for it. I love Nuke as a decider map. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, and
awesome.
Compared to their double overtime in that ESEA game, we could actually see this go kind of either way. Obviously, Omen Esports are going to be riding that momentum from that map to win, as DrugsNPugs need to get their mentality back on board from this previous loss. This is going to be a really big decider for how the grand finals goes towards the end there. But Nuke, this is going to be very interesting. I think this one requires a lot more map control, but we'll see how this one goes, and we'll talk a little bit more about Nuke when we come back from a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Crack it.
Welcome back to the third and final map of the last semifinals game for the off-season Shenanigans Season 8. Oh my goodness, what a second map from Omen Esports to come back into against DrugsNPugs, who won out Inferno 13-5, but now with the 13-8 on their board, we have a tight game going into Nuke here. I wanted to talk briefly about Nuke for this map. We kind of alluded to the fact of inner A control as well as outside control being some of the most prominent things about this map. I'd say one of the biggest things is that lurk control around the map, either through ramp or through outside. That can really crunch the map towards the A site, even towards B site. But it relies up to both these teams on their CT side to really lock out these positions or just get that information.
It's going to take speed and patience at the same time from both these teams. We saw on Inferno as well as Anubis fast team style plays from Pugs and Drugs, or Drugs and Pugs, I apologize. Fast team style plays are successful for them. Patient mid-round plays are successful for them. In Omen Esports, exactly the same. Once they group up, their herd mentality, they enter that site together mid-round, use a little bit of patience, accelerate into that speed after that first kill. That's going to bring success for both these teams on Nuke, and we're going to have to watch for it. Outside control is going to be huge. The A pops are going to be huge. Ramp control is going to be huge. And I think we're getting into the actual important knife round here.
Yep. So going into this knife round, I think kind of CT side is a little bit more favored at times on Nuke, but I've seen a drastic incline for T rounds on Nuke ever since CS2 dropped. Considering the fact that you can blow open smokes as well as cover so much more ground outside, you have so much more control on your T side to really be able to lock it down and be able to get that map control that you need. On CSGO, you needed 3 smokes outside just to cover the entire cross. Now you only need the 2 just based on how the smoke now blooms. And with the ability to blow open smokes, you give yourself so many more opportunities to get a line of sight on the CTs who are holding these angles. And elevation on the A site can make all the difference.
Very true. We see at the pro level, this is realistically like a 6-6 kind of map now.
Mm-hmm.
Within the tier 2 scene, at least the maps that I've seen, a strong set of util from the T side is going to give you that 7-5 advantage. But if the CTs know how to play around it, it's going to give them the 7-5 advantage. And both these teams, they know how to use their util. They know how to pop open those smokes with the op. We saw that many times from the Omen Esports squad. We're just going to have to watch and shoot here, get into this action.
As we get into the pistol round here, right about now, actually, one thing that I kind of want to see most off of is DrugsNPugs be able to apply that speed that they had on Inferno, that they didn't really show nearly as much on Anubis. You know, be able to send their way into a site really fast, be able to overwhelm Omen Esports before they even get a chance to react. And here's what they're going to do on the A site. But the discipline from Omen Esports, from what they've shown on Anubis, is going to be perfect. That nade's going to land on that bomb planter as well. So now they're going to be able to hold that line as soon as possible as Omen Esports. They can set themselves up for their fast execute. As the flashes go over, completely blind off the angle, they're going to try to get down out of heaven, but Serum's going to be able to hold that line. The self-team flashes cause a ripple as Fart eventually goes down. No one on DrugsNPugs lost their life there.
Walk me through this one. I'm going to build you a scenario. It's pistol round. You're on CT side on Nuke. You play a retake on the A site. You only put 1 outside and 1 on ramp. What's the strategy? What's the plan? There's the flashes that came in for that retake. There was no bodies behind it. There was no oomph from lobby. There was no push from mini. It seemed like it was just individuals. Go. What do you got?
It was supposed to be in Heaven Pop, where they're trying to take that Heaven space as fast as possible, way before that bomb even hit down. So they sent the 2 flashes over to try to hold that line, or to try to get themselves out into the middle of the site. Effectively just get 2 players out in towards back of a site where they have a lot more cover. That Heaven player tries to pick off 1 towards the vent, or at least get the damage in.
Attempted team play.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is that after the first flash, the second flash team flashed 2 of the Omen Esports players. By the time they tried to drop down the middle of the site, Serum found both headshots, and it completely fell apart out of that heaven pop. And then all the rest of the frags just came through against the lurkers. It was just DrugsNPugs to walk all over that one.
Yeah, we just yapped about what happened on the piston round and missed the conversion, and DrugsNPugs cleaned it up. Heavy fight outside, only losing one. The stack from Omen Esports, unsuccessful.
But this round is a lot more interesting. Obviously, the double kill from Serum outside, trying to take that space in towards control. It looks like DrugsNPugs want to be able to take that that way towards the B site, but with Scroops finding one more frag as well as 2 players being spotted towards that B site down secret, it just makes a lot more hesitation come through. 2 of the players wrap back around through garage, trying to get their way towards heaven, as well as Sunk playing it so patiently, waiting to get back outside. Scroops is still down towards the B side as Fart hasn't even gotten his way up the vent yet. Here comes the heaven execute. Rue, partial flash off the angle. Luke trying to get down with a bomb. He lives just barely. As Fart tries to get back through the vent, he cannot in time. Scroops left in the 1 versus 4 just to try to save that M4, but he's a little bit out of position.
There's DrugsNPugs showing them how to retake A site from heaven with a single flash instead of 2. Excellently executed. Fought that guy at that single vent, as you described. Utility landing to block off squeaky door. And the speed DrugsNPugs displayed at the start of the round into the slow, patient play, into an excellent execute from that heaven onto A site. It's just showing me really good things right now, and DrugsNPugs are ready for this nuke map. They're ready to take this over the line, and they're ready to fight in control in the finals.
But the defense being so split for Omen Esports after Serum found the double kill outside, he opened up a realm of possibilities and forced Omen Esports to give up so much control of the map. They lost complete outside control. They lost heaven in the process, and we saw that. I think it was Rue who was sitting towards that second vent, as well as Fart just not confident enough to get up the vent to try to hold the A site together with that MP9. He put himself at such a disadvantaged position and wasn't able to get the trade for his teammate.
Very true. Very true. This is a forced a crappy buy for Omen Esports here, and DrugsNPugs might need to take advantage of this pretty slowly.
P2K from Weenie. Get us a little bit of information. No lives lost in the process. That M4 playing on top of the boost on credit. Serum is just inching his way around these smokes. Not going to be spotted out by the time he gets down towards secret. A ramp push and a lobby crunch from 2 of these CTs, completely shunned by a single Molotov. Here comes the ramp push. Scroops is going to be the only one relatively close to hold the line. With that M4, he's going to go back towards heaven, try not to lose that gun in the process. Still no frags across the map, just a little bit of chip damage to a few of these players. Dinner outside, spots a garage player, only a body shot. Misses the first initial shot, but now that's information for Rue to try to hold that line, and ramp has kind of been given up for the most part. Sunk is still here. Most of their players are kind of inching their way back towards the A site. Rue with the shoulder peek. I don't know if he made a footstep there, but it's going to be smoked off from the A site. Will that drive Rue's attention away? But Scroops trying to hold that line and headshot it off the angle. Both the secret players, Fart and Weenie, line up for Serum as Rue tries to take any sort of pressure back towards Garage here. Eventually finds that first shot. Has to deal with Sunk, who's already pushing outside from spawn. Really tried to hold the line against a swinging Jay Breezy, but completely overwhelmed. DrugsNPugs, they're starting their advantage hot.
Yeah, Weenie's got to get this op out right now. He's got to start using it to dominate this outside position. He has to pop those smokes to take those fights. Smokes are landing outside, and these teams are just walking up on it. They're getting themselves into big garage. We're seeing the speed crossing red into lower. And then patience comes out. In Omen Esports, they need to understand that patience, it's probably just a freeze, and they just need to continue being patient, waiting for that next step from DrugsNPugs. And Weenie can open up with this op outside, give him that 5v4. That patience is going to be a little bit easier.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Weenie pushes so aggressively outside smoke. That little gap gave him so much room to work with and a free kill to boot. Serum, who's 9-3, goes down in the round. He's been the entry frag so far for Nuke. for the hands of DrugsNPugs. Here comes the ramp aggression as Scroops completely flashed off the angle, trying to find that fight. Jay Breezy gets the better of him. Dinner through the Molotov, finds himself one. Bart having to inch his way back towards the A site. Taking the fight in towards Mini there. Flash not going to be enough to hold the line as Absolute burns inside that hut Molotov. That's so much information for Bart, knowing that they're more stacked towards the A site, but nothing they can do. DrugsNPugs 5 in a row.
I feel like they didn't know what to do off that information when Weenie got that first kill and went down into lower. They were kind of scrambling on A site. Outside was completely vacant after Weenie left. No one tried to pick up that mini position. The flank that came in from, I think, Luke, shooting them in the back, kind of just ended the round.
Timeout called from Omen Esports. They're probably getting a little bit overwhelmed, probably overthinking how they want to play on Nuke. And between the last 5 rounds, only 5 kills have been found on the CT side. Not much damage really to boot for that. The only player above 50 ADR is Dinner.
Yuck.
Effective utility has been a little bit less from DrugsNPugs. Not many flashes have been effective. Your utility damage is a little bit better, but overall, DrugsNPugs are just playing the aim game and they're kind of winning it out. Sunk now has that AWP from the hands of Weenie.
I'd love to see a lobby crunch right now from Omen Esports with this lesser weaponry.
I would too, but at the same time, I also know that DrugsNPugs are going to be this patient. They're going to be expecting this type of play, especially after a gun round like this, where the op now fell out of their hands. They're obviously going to try to save to try to get that op back in the hands of Weenie at some point. Sooner the better.
3 and lower now from Omen Esports.
Probably gambling towards that outside, considering all the smokes from DrugsNPugs, and with one of their players holding Garage from Dinner and not seeing anything towards Mini or Squeaky Door. They're kind of having the right read on this situation. Scroobs with that bot Famos may be able to get some damage done, but Weenie's going to be that first point of contact with the 5-7, inching his way up into the fight against Luke. He does get the first shot, and actually Scroobs to find it out, and they're going to try to rush him out. He's trying to find that frag. Serum only good for the 1, completely folding under the pressure. That Famos making it count. But now this
Dinner's
ramp
got the
aggression.
read.
Yeah, this ramp aggression going back towards the A site. Sunk has that read. AWP in hand towards lobby, trying to find that initial frag. Ooh, the timing is so awkward. Sunk still inching his way up as Fart's holding that angle close towards the door. Gonna find that shot. The op is gone and actually fully recoverable. Here comes the outside aggression from DrugsNPugs as well as towards Heaven. As 15 seconds on the clock, Drew getting mollied back out of position as Fart's gonna wait for the rest of his team to get back towards A. 4-on-2 is this retake more than doable.
Big job from Absolute in Heaven here. Needs to play his time wise. Oh.
Actually,
early.
that smoke gives Jay Breezy a lot more cover towards the left side. It gives him so much to work with, but it's not going to work out. Scroobs getting out of the round through. Okay! Absolute found himself a triple kill. The 10-second defuse to be stuck by Dinner. I don't think he realizes that he's actually going to stick that whole defuse. Absolute almost finds the clutch, but Dinner keeps it alive for Omen Esports. What a shot from him!
Oh. Nico from Falcons is going to be watching this going, okay, that's what I had to do. Okay, no stress. I'm just kidding, bro. Sorry, shouldn't have brought that up, Nico. I know it's probably painful for you, but Omen Esports get 1. It's a scary one, but they get 1. And that was on a lesser buy, so we can get this off back up and go for that outside kick again.
And that lesser buy overwhelmed the lower V pressure. Obviously, it forced DrugsNPugs to try to take that space towards Hell and Heaven, try to inch their way back towards the A site after they really don't have any more success trying to get back towards B. It all relies on that split pressure and that outside control, and once that's gone, B site is a little bit trickier to try to defend. Late outside smokes from the T side as Weenie tries inching his way around the smokes. Oh, the timing. He finds a shot. It's his teammate to blow open that smoke for the first kill. As Dinner finds a little bit more contact for Sun outside. Reaggressing. Trying to hold that Heaven position around the smokes. Will not find the right timing onto any of the players as Weenie changes up his position out of Garage and holding a little bit more towards Hell. So they're going to give that mid control away to DrugsNPugs, who are not going to take it effectively. The lobby hold from DrugsNPugs. 45 seconds on the clock. Plenty of util left to work with as they inch their way out towards Squeaky Door. Jay Breezy still getting the shoulder peek onto one. Dinner, flash on the angle. Gonna try to flush him out. Trying to hold a line with the spray. This is the shot. Rue trying to get everything done. He found himself a double and a triple in the round. Sung's last alive. I think his presence is very well known on that position. Almost finds a shot in between the two players. Weenie on top for that one as Rue holds down the ace site pretty convincingly.
One mag, M4A1S, knows his position's compromised, backside swings, has support from the Heaven player, and he gets 3. Huge for Omen Esports. But now they're really digging into the bank account of this DrugsNPugs squad. Full buy still coming in, and Omen Esports have to do this again. They have to maintain this pressure within their default, and even if they win this round, I think DrugsNPugs are going to be buying anyways. They have tons of money.
I think that regardless of which game is kind of a buy in between either one. Pace change coming out. Serum opens up the first frag on the Dinner, who was completely caught off guard around the red box. So that's outside, completely given away. The op still playing towards A. As most of this is just a lobby hold from DrugsNPugs. Setting themselves up for the hot. Here comes Bart trying to eat his way through, trying to get the trade frag. Scoops cannot convert. Luke found himself the 2 kills, getting into the A side as soon as possible. Weenie knows this is a lost cause and is going to back up to CT spawn so damn early.
Weenie was deep in hell there, looking towards CT spawn almost. They knew they were compromised from that Heaven jump. They had to make a play on that A site. They can't just sit there because they're going to get pinched like they have multiple times. The walk into the hut didn't work out for them. Luke with that spray from the AK just finishes them off. Secures a 6th for DrugsNPugs. Omen Esports can be able to save this op and get a bye next round, so it shouldn't be too bad.
This is such the right call from DrugsNPugs. Obviously, they want to take so much pressure towards outside there. Put Serum on the front line, who has been the most impactful player so far in this nuke map. 12 and 6. He's just opening up those double kills towards outside, just making so much pressure, making Omen Esports sweat at the line. That's the second time their defense has completely crumbled at the seam in the first 20 seconds of the round, even before A site was being taken.
Yeah, that's that speed, patience, speed, patience, speed, patience. DrugsNPugs is putting on display. Attack timeout for Omen Esports. What's the change here? Weenie's talking to them right now. Boys, I'm getting these opening picks. We're not converting off of it. What needs to change? That's probably the discussion happening right now in the Omen Esports camp. DrugsNPugs, they're sitting pretty. They're feeling pretty good about 6 so far on their T side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Serum putting the numbers in outside, just being that kind of early impact player and the rest of his team locking down that lobby crunch as soon as possible, it really doesn't give Omen Esports much room to breathe in that position. And despite the possible trade frag from Scroobs just not really finding Luke. And this is another tack timeout from DrugsNPugs this time.
Ooh, back to back. That's pretty rare. Gives me time to talk about the timeouts. If you're listening and you play Counter-Strike on a team, practice these timeouts. Use them randomly. Use them effectively. How do you do either of those? You have to practice. The randomness of a timeout can be good if you don't need to use it for a strat. If you're just using it to calm down, take a breath after a good clutch, it's a great time to use it. If you need to use it for a strat, or you need to communicate something to your teammates about information somewhere across the map that they need to know about, it's good to have. But if you don't practice it, you don't know how to use it, you're not going to be able to use it effectively when you need it. That's all. That's my rant on timeouts. I'm a big fan of them, and we don't use them effectively or enough.
I've said it too. Oh, here comes Serum around side the box. Will he not spot him out? No. Drew gets the better of him. Here comes the A entry, though. Completely overwhelmed by the speed again. DrugsNPugs are going to try to take this Dinner. Not mollied off in that position, but there's no straight track from Rue. Blown open smoke. Absolute finds the double kill. Scroops on the other side here has to wait it all out as there's so much utility just being dumped from DrugsNPugs early into the round as Weenie holds on top of heaven with that AWP completely exposed to Luke, but it Scroops to find the opening frag onto Sunk. That nade, oh, chipping away too, down to low HP, and Scroops gonna try to still find that entry out. Heaven completely exposed. Luke down to 12 HP. That off missed shot is too crucial. The nade also lands right on top of them, and what was turning into they're gonna try for this retake turns to am I gonna be able to save in the first place as Weenie tries to hold that line. Luke goes out wide. DrugsNPugs up to 7.
There's that speed. There's that speed from DrugsNPugs right onto that A site. That's one thing we talked about. Who can hold the A site from the upper hit? And Omen Esports, a little bit more aggressive than they should have been outside on that instance in that play. Great play for them to get that opening kill, of course, on to Serum, the top frag of DrugsNPugs, but it just exposes that opening on A site. Great call from DrugsNPugs to just do a proper execute. Molly's landed, smokes landed. They even popped the smokes open, as you alluded to. You get 2 free kills in that mini side. Beautiful, beautiful default, or beautiful strat from DrugsNPugs.
Early nade outside, waiting to play on the Serum. A flash is just going to barely get Dinner into that initial fight. Again, Serum's losing that fight outside without any impact in the round. Actually, would be a little bit dangerous as Luke gets a little bit more done outside. It's after Luke to try to walk through the A site. He's opened himself up to another double kill, but traded right back out by Dinner in mini. 3 versus 3. The rotation all pulled in towards the A site as DrugsNPugs are down towards Secret, and they're going to hold on to the vent as much as possible. Early into ramp, Scroops trying to find anything. Having to clear out all these angles, but once that single door opens, he's exposed entirely. He has to get that cover. Open up for the first kill. Good. He's trying to find that second shot as he's getting re-aggressed by Sunk. Trying to hold that line. And Ben's going to be inched up by Jay Breezy, but read by Dinner. 2 versus 1. Trying to hold on to that B site. But Sunk is going to re-aggress back towards the vent here. And I think Dinner has the right read on this situation. He knows that because that last frag went out, the safe bomb plan on the B site is gone. And they don't know where Weenie is. They only know where the player of Dinner is. Double doors open. He's going to try it for that plant stick. 2 versus 1. 2 smokes in the hands of the CTs, but no kits on their persons. Sunk inching his way back to that single door, completely exposed on the swing. That smoke right in front of the bomb. Back turn Dinner. Not ready for it as much. Weenie tries to tap onto the bomb, tries to bait out Sunk. He's out in the middle of sight. No ammo, but he finds the kill just barely as Weenie had the opportunity of a lifetime and fumbled.
So 6 rounds in his mag, 2 Sunk taps 2 into the smoke. Obviously playing on 9-10 native, not 4-3. Catches the quick little peek behind backside. Puts the 7.62 between his lips.
Third.
That's very unfortunate. Yeah, that's very unfortunate for the Omen Esports squad. They recovered that. They had a great position that they were in, 2v1, and just couldn't convert it. Moved a little bit too quick there in that post plant. Had tons of time. Fumble.
Even despite having
farts 1 and 9.
Even despite having attack timeout before, they're calling another one right now. This round was just not what they wanted to have happen. Too many missed opportunities, too many points of stress, and despite having the right read, despite having the opportunity to play as a team, they overestimated themselves just a little bit.
I don't know about this. Fart's got 1,150 and he didn't buy any utility.
Yeah, I think this is kind of another one of those stress calls, but Fart's going to inch his way up through ramp as fast as possible. Sunk on the line, sprays around in smoke as Absolute finds a frag onto Scroops. This was just an awkward timing entirely as Scroops was there on that angle close to ramp. Rue is going to try to hold as A side as long as possible, but this round is over. Again, Esports already basically out of this round. Jay Breezy still itching his way outside of the vent. Rue's going to go back down as the A side's going to falter. Dinner exposed and completely done for. Still to think onto Jay Breezy. He could lose another life here. Rue's going to find that. Go. Whoa, what is this push back up towards ramp? The bomb being planted towards the B site. Is Rue going for this, or is he going for exits? I don't know what he's doing.
He's got to go for it. There's no way he can't go for it. His team has no money.
No. Okay.
But he can't just give up 9. Like, 9-3 is not a solid half. He had 2 kills in the round, going for the ace. Yeah, saving the AK is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But losing the round is way worse. I think Dinner, he needed to go for that. Or Rue needed to go for that. He did. Unfortunate that he didn't win it. This is not looking good for Omen Esports.
Definitely not.
Fart saved enough to get himself an M4, but I think he needs to give that to one of his teammates and take the MP9.
Or he needs to change it up a little bit, because obviously he was a bit more of a ramp player in that position, but it just wasn't working out nearly as much. You're going to take a lot of burn damage towards Mini there. The outside presence going in favor for DrugsNPugs after all these smokes bloom. Still Rue trying to find that initial contact. A little bit of a supporting flash, not going to be as effective. Scroob gives away his information that he's already pushed in towards Secret, but Serum's going to reaggress, trying to find that initial frag, and Scroob has all the information in the world now. But now that DrugsNPugs haven't found him, they're going to try back up towards outside. Met with a double stack in towards heaven here. Fart's going to try to hold that line. Serum's going to reaggress back to the garage, tries to find the head of Fart, misses it, and that's an opportunity. Here comes the lobby crunch from Omen Esports. Absolutely not timing, but not the shot. Weenie finds it with the MP9. Jay Breezy can't entry towards A. Sunk has to do it all just to get the 10th round on the board to give Omen Esports no breathing room in the second half of Nuke. But this round was completely blown apart. Fart found the initial 2 frags, and the outside take just wasn't in favor.
Yeah, DrugsNPugs, they crumbled on that outside take. They lose those 2 fights. Deep, big garage, not expecting 2 CTs to be up in heaven. Great rotation from Mini to reaggress into that lobby crunch from Rue. And I think Scroobs, they took lobby pretty quick away. Yeah, that's a great call from Omen Esports right there. They were able to mid-round that play, put it into a 1v4, and Punk is not getting out of this round alive.
Yeah, no.
3 on the board for Omen Esports, and they're going to be happier with 3 than 2. They need to check themselves pretty quick here and not get overwhelmed by DrugsNPugs' aggression. We know they love aggression on their CT side. They did it on Anubis, wasn't successful. They did it on Inferno, and it was extremely successful, and Omen Esports had no response for it.
Again, the kill disparity, Fart with 3, Dinner with 4, just not really finding their impact so far in these rounds. And again, the A site being kind of the outlier on that CT side. Now they have to do a lot more work on their T side. Elimination on the line. Grand Finals also on the line. DrugsNPugs. Can they close this one off? Set a utility from DrugsNPugs to deny any sort of fast A rush. Yeah, and that tap from Serum outside is so important. He's going to go through some more, try to find the frag, and he's going to isolate the one-on-one fight towards Red Box there, but it's Sunk to kill Rue, close to Mini. Here comes the re-aggression outside. Dooley's going to try to find their impact in the round. Eventually, Scroops does get 1 frag for the hands of Omen Esports. Serum re-aggresses through the smoke, trying to find those taps. Dinner down to 3 HP. Group still found himself a double kill, but the bomb's now out of their control. Fart trying to reaggress through Mini. Off timing against Luke. Trying to go for some more. Cannot get it done. It's Serum all the way. Luke eventually finds that last frag. Pistol round for DrugsNPugs. 3 rounds to go.
Yeah, DrugsNPugs did not play the bomb site that round. They said as soon as we find contact, we're just going to converge, slowly squeeze, and continuously take the fights until there are no more fights. We don't care they get the bomb plant. We're going to set up for a retake. They displayed their retake ability on A site while on their T side, and it was beautiful. So, DrugsNPugs, second round, heavy util here. And Omen Esports actually forced into this. It's not their economical strengths usually.
They have to get some sort of round on the board, and they have to do it
Yeah.
in a fast fashion. Because DrugsNPugs, they still have the 3 MP9s really to work with, but here comes the A crunch. Sarah trying to find that angle in towards Mini, does onto Rue. Timing's just right. EP50 only in the hands for Bart and Dinner. They're going to try to take that A space. The flash is beautiful, and they're going to get completely overwhelmed. That A site take falters at the seams. Dinner completely pressured by Luke. DrugsNPugs, 13 damage taken.
Ooh. Yeah, DrugsNPugs are ready for that. 3 on the A site plus that fast rotation from ramp. They had a great understanding of what was happening there. Their setup was for any kind of upper push. And that's exactly what Omen Esports delivered to them. Losing only 13 damage to one player, especially when the Molotovs are hitting and the flashes are successful. DrugsNPugs, they look prime and ready to finish off this map and take this series.
Yeah, and what a series this would be to really secure their way in towards the grand finals. Obviously, they wanted it to be a little more convincing, especially after that first map on Inferno. But little bits of hiccups on Anubis, a little bit of a learning curve. Biggest problem in the world. Nade, beautiful from Luke, to open up this round entirely. He's trying to re-aggress with that MP9. Luke can get this one done. And the money would be in the bank for him to further buy an op in the next round, or his teammate. The full minute
Yeah,
left
looking
on
at the money of Omen Esports, I don't think he's going to be too worried about trying to get an op up in the next round. It's just going to be AKs and team play.
Absolute first frag goes his way on top of Hut. The Weenie's out of the round early on. Rue does find a one-tap onto Serum. That's one of the most important things. He's going to try to aggress a little bit further, but cannot against that MP9. Bard not finding the shot with that Galil through the door smoke. 40 seconds on the clock. A Molotov to flush out Dinner. He doesn't burn to death, but still the pressure is on against Omen Esports. Through ramp, find themselves the double kill, and there goes the triple. 12-3, 9 chances to close out this series for the grand finals.
Oh, Weenie might actually get the op. Nope, AK-47 it is. And yeah, DrugsNPugs, they are looking unstoppable right now on Nuke. Again, just like on Inferno, they found a small weakness within Omen Esports and they're exploiting it. And Omen Esports have been unable to adapt to this aggressive patience, we'll call it. Aggressive patience from DrugsNPugs where they push up, heavy util dump, first fight, win or lose, and then they just pause. Omen Esports re-aggresses into the space and lose their lives. And this is probably going to be the last round of the game here, barring any crazy moves from Omen Esports. But just a default spread from them, not getting any space across the map. And DrugsNPugs are going to be happy with this, especially with Serum deep in secret like this. Oh,
Yeah, Serum already deep in towards secret. Outside control being very lackluster from Omen Esports, as well as their lobby control. They had one player just holding the door smoke as long as possible, but they had 2 players peeking towards ramp for far too long. Any sort of hut crunch from this MP9 could have spelled disaster, as he could have taken so much space in towards lobby for a pick, maybe 2. But
here's the difference between Omen Esports and DrugsNPugs outside. There was a huge gap.
Huge.
25 seconds-ish, Mini was open. Scroobs didn't even move. He just stayed deep outside, setting up for a late Mini wrap, allowing him to see just the 4 on the A site.
Oh, the flash, perfect enough for Luke to go down. Spartan Weenie, both 1 for 1. Stay freezing, holding the line towards the A site. Eventually goes down without the 3rd. And there's Weenie, finding himself the triple kill. Omen Esports stay alive for now.
I guess Scroobs rotated in through Mini. Worked. He got his 1 kill. Stopped the re-aggression. Good round from Omen Esports.
That mini line being the most important because it holds on to Squeaky Door as long as possible. And if Squeaky's not having any pressure, you can easily peek in towards the A site and hold off on that cross, make it almost impossible to really deal with several angles all at once. You're so worried about top hut, you're so worried about heaven. You just don't need to have to worry about mini. Here comes the fast ramp or vent play from Rue, taking all that space down the vent and cutting off a little bit of the rotate, but Sunk is going to find the shot on the Scroobs immediately.
He pushed up deep outside, got in front of his own CT side, just found a little gap.
Oh no, and there's Serum again. The frag towards Secret is so damn important, and Jay Breezy's already pushed in towards Hut here as Omen Esports are reconsidering their type of play here. Not many players from DrugsNPugs are still leaning towards the A side, and they're into this instant frag. Jay Breezy isolate the one-on-one, find himself a double kill. Dinner goes down. DrugsNPugs 13-4 on Nuke, and they move up to the grand finals.
Yeah, that MP9 AK-47 go burr in Hut. That thing rips. 10 landing right in the crosshair. Click the left click button. It's Breezy holding down Hut. 13th dom. Drugs and Pug Omen Esports. It didn't look like Omen Esports even got a footing in this map.
No,
they didn't have a strong default. Util wasn't landing. They were getting shot through the smoke. The aggression from the op of Drugs&Pugs. That's all she wrote.
And you could argue that this is one of their maps that they don't really work on as much. One of the like 5th or 6th maps in their roster. They have other permanent bans, but Nuke is also, like I said, one of the harder maps to really have that control over. Serum completely abusing that outside control, taking it super fast with the help of his teammates' utility. And having that control, having that forward space meant the world to their T side. It gave them so many rounds, so many opportunities, and the A side executes were phenomenal from DrugsNPugs. Omen Esports, a little bit towards the drawing boards, but they fall short of the grand finals for off-season shenanigans season 8. They'll be back in the ESEA advanced season starting next week. And there's a lot to say about some of these teams going into advanced, into a couple teams actually in main as well. These people are still strong fighters. They still have a chance. And a lot of this is great practice between their teams. A lot of this is still a lot more experience, and that matters the most. And I think just overall, DrugsNPugs were more ready for this best of 3. They had the lineup that they wanted to for the maps, and despite this hiccup on Anubis, this was a pretty convincing series for them.
Very much so. I just want to touch on one point that you said there. Practice. Off-season shenanigans, season 8, extremely strong online tournament within the NA scene. That's exactly what it is. No VRS points. The stress is a little bit less.
Well,
and to have a great deep run like this for Omen Esports in season 8 to make the semifinals, that's going to do nothing but bolster their confidence for season 54, I believe, of ESEA Advance. They got some good VODs to look over, mistakes that can be corrected, easily fixable things, and I'm excited to see them in season 54. I think they're going to be a playoff contender for sure. Both of these teams are going to be playoff contenders.
Yeah, definitely. For our next game, I believe starts Sunday, DrugsNPugs versus In Control. This is going to be a very tough match for DrugsNPugs. In Control, a former ECL team that just got relegated in the past season. In Control took their series pretty convincingly 2-0 for most of the playoffs, especially beating out Zomblers, who was also a pretty strong fighter at the start of the playoff season. What do you really want to say about this one? What do you really think will go on for that Sunday game?
Oh, I hope DrugsNPugs shows up the way they did on Nuke on all 3 maps. Even on their Inferno map, it was good team play, good aggression, understanding of movements, rotations, utilities, choke points, crossfires. And if they can show up and play like that against In Control, I think they stand a pretty good chance. At least going 3 maps, maybe not winning it out, because In Control, they are a ECL team. They've had 2 different seasons within ECL. So DrugsNPugs, they do have their hands full, but this is Counter-Strike. They can win for sure. And there's the playoff bracket in front of you right now.
Yep. So we'll be able to see those grand finals in just a couple days. Obviously, stay tuned to the social medias for the off-season shenanigans. If there's any date and time schedule changes for this matchup. Definitely very interested to see how this one closes out for this season. It's been an absolute honor being able to cast on the main channel as well as on my own channel for a lot of this season. I'm very excited to see how off-season shenanigans season 9 turns out in just a few months, but Yeah, this was a very interesting series. I'm glad to be able to cast 3 of the Omen playoff games
Very
as
much.
well. And thank you again to Henry Pat for joining me as the co-caster, King and Spectro Bunny on the observer and production side, as well as Big D Cast and RTX, as well as the rest of Off-Season Shenanigans crew for the opportunity to be able to cast here. It's an absolute blessing, and we're super excited to see how this one turns out at the end. But any final thoughts?
I'm going to allow what you said to be the final. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. Thank you very much.
All right, and on that note, thank you all so much for tuning in to the last semifinals game. We'll be back for the grand finals here on Sunday, so stay tuned. I'm your main caster Storm, my co-caster Mr. Henry Bat. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you on Sunday. Good night, everybody.